The studio doors are locked. This is a closed set. Will Murray.
I got angrier because I'm like, this is so ridiculous.
Jason Kaplan.
Look at me. I am so lucky I have a woman who sleeps in the same bed with me.
Their world.
The relationship has deteriorated. No.
Their life.
What is going on around here?
And the Howard Stern back office.
You were screaming and fighting and being drunk. No.
This is Back Office Radio with Will and Jason. Call 888-STERN-101.
Hello, welcome back to yet another episode of Back Office Radio. We're broadcasting from a real studio today, Will.
I know, out of the Black Cloud Diner, finally.
Finally, we're in Studio 2 at Sirius, and for people who've never been up here, this is where we do Geek Time. This is where we do the AGT show. This is where JD comes in and talks about all the TV shows he watched on Fast Forward.
I think this means we finally made it.
It is.
We picked it big time, Jason.
We're on the same level of John Hines' TV show. It's exciting. By the way, of course, John Hines' TV show immediately following Back Office Radio, so stay tuned for that. And welcome and thanks for joining us. We've gotten such a positive reception to the show, including Howard this week, who said that he listened and liked it. We have a lot coming up on the show today. We have Douche of the Week. We have a Back Office Spotlight on Tim's assistant, Sarah. She's leaving. Today's her last day.
This is it. So she can let it all out.
Yeah, no holds barred with her. I'm sure she has a lot of great stories. Speaking of stories, you and I had a busy weekend. I had my wine and weed party. You were at the Philly Block party.
Yes, I was.
So we have to talk about some of that. We have our most underreported Howard 100 news stories of the week, and this one includes Ask Napkin Ed. All new page 69. Your calls and more, excuse me. Hold on a second. Oh my God, I shoved a roast beef sandwich.
That was disgusting.
I know. You know, we couldn't get in the studio, and then our food came up, and I think I ate a roast beef sandwich faster than ever before.
He ate a foot-long roast beef sandwich in record time.
I think there's a piece of
It
roast.
looked like a leg you were eating.
I think I have a piece of roast beef hanging in the back of my throat.
God.
It's disgusting. But we are here, and Teddy, I was talking to Teddy right before the show, and Teddy announced that he's now wearing cowboy boots. For every Back Office Radio.
Every great radio. Every Thursday.
Oh, let me take a picture.
Me and
Jason,
Tim, yeah.
How much do you think those boots cost?
Put them back up. How much could boots fucking
Really
cost?
high, dude. Oh, fuck. All right. Check out. I feel like Crocodile Dundee.
How many inches are those?
Should feel like an idiot.
Dude, are those new? Because they're like you've worn them for. They look beat up. I mean,
No, they're new.
In a good way.
When I was in Austin, checking in with you guys, I was buying
Always
cowboy
working.
boots.
That's what I
Yes,
like about
working,
you,
thinking
Teddy.
about
All
the
right.
show.
I am going to say $60 boots, and I'm taking a picture. Wait, I'll put it back. I didn't get the picture yet.
You suck.
You suck.
Teddy doesn't wear $60 socks.
Ah.
All right?
That's
Don't forget,
right.
he's
That's right.
He's a Kennedy. Teddy
That's right.
Kennedy.
Teddy Kennedy. I love that. That's way better than Teddy Microphone. Okay, here it comes. Here comes the picture. Okay, I'll tweet that out. I'm going to say, all right, fine. $150 boots. Teddy?
More. But
More?
Yeah.
$175 boots.
Think more like JD's rent.
No.
$125 boots.
They are $400 boots,
What?
Jason.
Well,
Get the fuck out of here.
three and change,
Again,
taxes.
where does it come from?
Credit card.
I just bought 5 new sports jackets for $400. It was buy one, get one free. And he got a pair of boots for $400.
Are they still being made? Or?
You know what's cool? I feel like I have a new jacket already.
There's an army of Chinese kids somewhere putting them together right now.
Chopping down trees. There goes another rainforest.
iPads are on hiatus until they finish Jason's jacket.
Yeah, Foxconn is working on it. I feel like I have a new jacket, though. I didn't realize until last night when my wife's friend pointed it out. But I thought these pockets were just for show, and they didn't actually work. Cause you can't
They're like threaded.
But they're threaded. You have to rip them open.
Yeah.
So all of a sudden I have like 6 new pockets that I didn't have before. It's very exciting. Also, apparently the tail in the back of the jacket also rips apart.
The things that keep us going.
Well, congratulations, Teddy, on your
Thanks.
$400 boots.
Congratulations.
You married into money,
right.
and you're wearing your money on your feet. Well, Will, should we just jump right into a little state of the office? Because there was a lot going on this week.
State of the Office. A few weeks ago, Will Murray, father, husband, homeowner, told Howard his wild days were behind him.
Will gets into fights at stadiums.
Will's out of his fucking mind. I don't know what his problem is. Like, grow up already. You got a kid.
It's kind of past.
Has it?
I feel like
I hope so.
Really?
the city has beat me down enough at this point.
But all it took was one block party night without the wife for a drunken, angry Will Murray to rear its ugly, complaining head.
Howard looks at me and goes, "Who the fuck is that guy?" He doesn't know me. We deliver a show every week that we think the fucking real fans of this show care about. And you can laugh all you want, and Wolfie, you can fucking go suck a dick.
Howard said he was embarrassed for Will and disappointed in him for getting smashed and complaining about his boss. Why does Will feel so unappreciated? And is he glad Howard Stern is finally getting to know him?
Well, Will, I think that's the big question. You asked for it,
was
you
like
got
a
it.
douchey intro, Jason.
Of course it was. What else is it? What other intro do we have? Did you write a non-douchey intro for our
Yeah,
intro?
no, I thought it was pretty, standard intro. But what were you going to say?
Are you happy now?
Shut up. I never gave a shit whether Howard fucking knew me, so shut up.
All right,
I love that I have to defend the ramblings of a drunken idiot. I really do. And I know this whole thing, the truth comes out when you're drinking. Oh, yeah. Whatever. I mean, give me a fucking break. Yeah, I'm sure everyone here, to a certain degree, feels underappreciated, like their work goes unnoticed, right? Do you feel that way from time
sometimes,
to time?
absolutely,
Yes.
sometimes.
So when you get blacked out, blotto drunk, you're going to say a few obnoxious things. And now it's like it keeps getting thrown back at me. Like I see all these ideas on Muldred, like, oh, Will's such an intention whore. Oh, he needs a spotlight on him at all times. That's not me. That's Teddy. Teddy's the one that said he wanted to be a star.
You. No.
All right, so let me tell you how I see the state of the office, because it's always usually between the two of us. It's usually me in the spotlight, quote unquote. Whether I'm getting shit
exactly.
on,
That's such a good point, though.
or whether I'm
You have
arguing
15
with
shows
somebody.
here.
Yeah, right.
I'm never on the air.
Yeah,
Because I know my place. I'm that good boy. I'm the guy that sits back there and does his work and doesn't try and grab the microphone. And somehow that has been turned on me.
So it's been interesting to me this week to watch your reaction and see how you reacted to everything. You went through a lot of stages of, well, first of all, this weekend, I saw you on Saturday, the day after the block party, and you couldn't remember what you said, and you were actually asking the Howard TV guys, hey, what did I say?
That was a scary time because, I don't know if people saw the text on Twitter or whatever it was, but JD and I were IMing or messaging on Saturday morning.
Yes.
And he says, hey, do you remember talking to the cameras? I said, I have no recollection of that. I was like, oh, this is not good.
If you'd like to see that text message exchange, it's up on howardstern.com now in the Will Drunk at Philly Block Party Gallery.
Yeah. So I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh, do I have to wait till Monday to find out if I said anything, if even Howard will care?
Right.
And so one of the Howard TV guys that was actually at the shoot or was at the block party, he's like, you didn't say anything that bad.
I was standing right next to him when he said that, and you were like, and I love you, and I don't want to see you upset or worried or getting yourself in trouble. So when he said, "Oh, you didn't say anything that bad," I was like, "Oh, good." I was like,
it was a lot of relief. I was like, all right, I can kind of relax and have fun. And then what happened? We heard the clips on Monday. Not on the show. We heard him off the air, and I go, oh, this is awful. This is just not going to be good. Because I just sound like a douchebag. Like, that's my worst fear, that I don't want to be that guy that's seeking attention. I don't want to be that guy that's looking for the spotlight. I know there's enough people in this office that do that. And it's this one little comment like, oh, I don't feel like Howard appreciates me or whatever the fuck I said. And suddenly it's just come back like he knew that was my weakness, and now he's kicking me in the balls with it.
Well, I was talking about that on the wrap-up show a little bit, saying that, perception is a fragile thing.
Yeah.
And it's like, all of a sudden you say one thing one time on one recorder and it becomes how possibly the audience sees you and Howard sees you, and it's frustrating as hell because you really can't fight against it.
Well, yes, you can. You just don't go on the air all the time or like make an attempt to go on the air all the time.
Guys, if you want to talk to Will about his drunken behavior, his on air with Howard this week and how he handled it, and of course you can mix it up with Lisa G, give us a call, 888-STERN-101. That's 888-783-7610.
Well, one thing I want to add too is, I talked about the real fans and the show that we're doing, and when we were, shut the fuck up, Teddy. You're such an asshole. I know it was obnoxious. I get it. All right. You don't have to tell me. But, you're in a room, you go to this block party and there's 600 like hardcore fans.
Yeah.
I walk in there like, oh my God, it's Will Murray. This is so cool. And I'm like, I don't even care about myself that much. You know what I mean? So it gets you fired up. And then, you get on mic when you're all drunk and you say, yeah, it's fucking cool. We do a great show. We love the real fans. And then you listen back on Monday and it just sounds, like I said, completely douchey. So
when you give an interview and you literally cannot remember, because I like I said, I talked to you the next day, you had no memory of what you said. Is that scary to you? Not just from the show perspective, but the fact that you got so drunk you don't remember anything you said.
No, I've done it before, and usually it's the mark of a good night, to be quite honest with you. I didn't eat. I knew it was, I'm telling you, that's the biggest mistake you can make on a big drinking night is not eating.
Can I just stop you right there? The biggest mistake anyone can make on any night or day or mid-afternoon is not eating.
Yes.
And the eating is vital to living.
Shocking, Jason, you feel that way.
I support eating.
Of course you do. But yeah, that, I mean,
It's my platform.
I talked to my brother last night and he said the whole night I was whining about it. He's like, I was like, I'm going to be a mess. I didn't eat.
So you came in Monday and, I don't think a lot of those clips got played on Monday. You kind of skated on Monday, and then Tuesday
Well, it was funny because Monday goes and I'm like, all right, we're out of the woods. And then at the end of Monday, off the air, Gary said to Howard, he goes, hey, the news wants to know if they can use the clips of Drunken Will. And I go, oh, great. Okay. We're moving on.
Right.
And Howard goes, no, let's keep them. I may want to use them tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
And so then I'm like, oh shit.
So tomorrow morning, Tuesday morning, I'm in the studio before the show starts and Howard starts playing your drunken clips, and I hadn't heard them at that point.
Yeah.
And when I heard you start drunkenly going, talking about back office radio and where the real.
Yeah, they're cringeworthy.
I know. No, I left the studio. I'm like, I can't.
Yeah, they're hard to they're even hard for me to listen to now.
So I saw, you were on edge Monday waiting to see if it was going to play out, and it really didn't. You came in Tuesday, and
the other thing about Monday is, Howard hears the clip off the air. I hadn't heard the clips, but I could just see in his eyes that he's looking at me like, you're an insane person. And he comes around around his desk to take a leak or whatever, and I just look at him like, I'm sorry, Howard. He just starts laughing. He pats me on the back. He's like, you're a madman.
Yeah, you are a madman in a way, but I want to get into your head. So Tuesday, the clips come up on air. And you got angry and defensive, and I understand.
Well,
that.
I think everybody gets like that.
And so you went through the whole range of why is this even still a thing? I thought we were past this. Then it was excuses, like you said, I wasn't eating. Fuck you. I was not a fan of it. I was having fun. You were directing your anger at certain people. You were really mad at Shuli for even.
I was mad at Shuli for a minute. Yeah,
you were mad. Now let's talk about that. Shuli doing his job or being a bad friend, or both?
Well, it's a fine line around here because I think everybody is friends with everybody. Right. I mean, there are degrees of friendship, but ultimately you hope that the guys around here look out for you when you're in that kind of a state. But, for most people around here, show comes first. And I'm not saying what he did was wrong.
Right.
But, I'm hoping that he at least had that argument in his head. Like he said, well, this guy's, because I know, like, at least I can go off what he claims. Scott DePace says that he started to hear me talk like that, and he's like, he turned off his recorder.
Well, we've also heard since then that some of your friends, your hometown friends, were like coming up to you and like, dude, stop talking.
Yes.
And it's a weird thing. When I heard those tapes and I really heard how drunk you sounded, I know beyond any doubt that I would have tried to stop you. Like at some point I would have walked over to you and said, all right, guys, enough, whatever, we'll stop. But I also know without a doubt that you would have told me to fuck off, you pussy, because it's usually what happens when I tell you to stop doing something when you're drunk.
Yeah, when I'm that drunk, it's usually best just to let me go, like you said. Yes. It's just, then you become the target of my obnoxiousness.
But it is a fine line, because I know even at Richie's wedding, that's where we got those drunk Lieberman clips.
Yeah.
And, okay, fine. We're at an event. He's drunk. Scott DePace and Sal are standing over him with a recorder. And it was funny for a little while. I was watching it. It was funny for a little while. But then after a certain point, they're practically just, like, he's so drunk, he'll just say anything.
Yeah.
And it's like, guys, what the fuck? Like, we're at a party, you got your audio, you got the shit that's gonna, embarrass him the next day. Like, at a certain point, I just felt that they were, like, hounding him. And, listen, all's fair in love and war, but if I was better friends with John Lieberman, I might have said something like, hey guys, fucking enough.
It's funny because, I want people to treat me that way, but I guarantee you if had the roles been reversed, I would be the biggest cocksucker when it comes to that shit.
That's good to know. Hey, Wes and Austin, welcome to Back Office Radio.
Yeah, hey guys, big fan. Hey, I'm just curious, Will. Listen, I'm not sure how old you are. I think you're around 35, but dude, who gets, at the age of 35, even over 30, who gets that shit face anymore?
Yeah, really.
I don't know, man.
Really.
No, but seriously, listen, if you know what's going to happen, and nowadays with, the recorders and iPhones and all that, don't drink so much when you go out. You got a wife and kid at home. No more. You got to put away the Velcro wallet. You got to stop wearing jerseys.
No, I don't. I don't understand that rap. Why I have to do anything. I can get shit-faced every once in a while if I want to get shit-faced.
Like, and in your defense, I mean, if there was no tape that Howard played the next day, you would have gotten shit-faced on a Friday night, and that would have been the end of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And by the way, Teddy's like 40, and he gets shit-faced all the time.
I mean, listen, I don't live in
No, I'm not 40.
Oh, how old are you?
Oh, right. That could
I'm 33.
33, and he gets shit-faced all the time, and I'm 33, and I get, what's the word for when you smoke a lot?
Fat.
Yes, I got fat. I got very, very fat. I have constant hunger issues. So Schuler just came down, and we're going to go to him in a second. But to go back to like what it is a fine line between friendship and work. And to me, what really puts you in a position to not complain at all is that you were at a Howard Stern event for all intents and purposes. I mean, you walk into the block party, you work on the show, you're part of the block party. And to give a contrast to that, the other night.
Well, it wasn't really a Stern I mean, yes and no. Howard would probably say it's not a Stern event.
If I was at Jim McClure's apartment last week for dinner, and it was great. It was me and my wife and him and his wife, and it was our fiance. Wife, we could call it now? Okay. So here's
it's not a wife without a wedding, Jimmy.
Let's just say we got drunk and Jim and his wife started arguing, right? And they're just tearing out. Like, I would never pull the recorder out to
You're
record
so full
that.
of shit. Oh, well, yeah, pull out the recorder, but you talk about it.
Well, but it's at his house. You know what I mean? Like,
what about your wine and weed party?
My wine and weed party, I didn't personally record anything. I was glad that I didn't see people with cameras and stuff out. To me, that's the gray area, because on the one hand, you have a lot of people from the show in one place, but it's also your house and a private event. So to me, it's a little bit of a gray area where the block party isn't a gray area.
Let me give you the grayest area.
Okay.
And that would be a strip club where we've had issues.
There's no gray area. You don't record in the strip club.
Well, why? It's a Stern event. You're there because of Howard. Right?
You don't record in the strip club.
It's happened. We've seen people run around these parties taking pictures of people getting lap dances.
You don't record at a strip club. I don't care what show you work on. You just don't record at a strip club.
All right.
Well,
Truly.
I was going to say, first of all, getting back to Will drunk backstage, I was in the middle of doing a show when Will was going through his stages of drunkenness. And normally I always bring my recorder with me on these shows because there's always something that happens behind the scenes. So I'm always pulling double duty. Now, when I came around the corner, what I saw was Will sitting up against the wall and your good friend, Scott DePace, waving me over.
Oh.
So I come over.
You left that fact out, didn't you?
I come over my recorder and I'll play
Shut up, stupid.
I'll play you the original raw audio of it. Scott is the
God,
first.
you're such an idiot, Shuli.
Scott is the first voice you hear, and he goes, "Hey, Will's talking about some chick's tits," as loud as possible, and the recorder went on. Now, I recorded everything. When it was done, I definitely had a tug of war in my head on what to do, because I love you, and you know I do.
I know.
And I walked out to the car, and I talked to John Toll and Mad Dog, and I go, I don't know what to do with this audio. I'm torn. I don't know what to do. And walking over to me is Mike Ganji from Howard TV, and says the following sentence.
Hey, Shuli.
So are you giving Gary the Will audio, or are we?
So
it wasn't even a question.
Yeah,
it wasn't even a question.
I don't expect anything different from that dumpy fuck.
But going against your argument that this technically wasn't the right thing to do at the right time, John Lieberman could have that same argument.
We just talked about that at Richie's wedding, right?
Yeah. So I mean, and that, as much as Howard doesn't want to face it, it's pretty. I mean, it is a bit of a Stern event. There are people from the show there.
Right. And
there are fans there from the show. So
To move off this point, I think, at the end of the day, you understand what happened.
Yes.
And you wish that somebody had pulled you aside hard and said, hey, bro, you're so blacked out, you don't know what you're talking about. I'm going to look out for you.
Well, a lot of people did try that, keep in mind, but it's not like you could make a lot of sense with Will at that point.
I get angry at other people, but ultimately, I just got to be angry at myself. I'm an asshole.
Now, Will, when all this was going on the air, and to surely stay around for this, when all this was going on the air, you started getting texts from your wife, right?
Yeah.
Was she? Can you want to give us a little bit of a flavor there?
Pull them up here.
Do you remember what it was that upset her? Was it the fact that you sounded so drunk? Was it anything that you said in particular? Was it the fact that you kept saying you didn't eat dinner and it makes her look like a bad wife if she hasn't made you dinner?
That's what you would be.
Of course, that's on Jason's radar.
While Will looks up the text, I have dinner planned out for the next 5 nights.
All right, here we go.
Chilly night.
Some of the things that came out of your mouth were disgusting. Me, haha, sorry, baby.
There's really no follow-up to that text.
Not terribly funny. Where does that shit come from?
I love how they don't know who you are after they marry you.
Where does that shit come from?
I said, like what? I was being obnoxious. I know, but still. And who is Jackie the intern?
Let's talk about that for a second. Let's talk about that for a second. You have to not be happy with Shuli for keeping that Jackie the
Well,
intern.
it was annoying, but I wish he'd cut it out, but he didn't cut it out. And you know what? Jackie's just a girl that works here, and we all have fun with people around here, the interns around here. The bottom line is, 10 minutes after that block party ended, I was in a car with Scott DePace, passed out. So,
and you didn't say anything bad about her. You didn't say anything bad. All you said was her name, and the only reason I left it in is because it was funny that we all finally stopped at that point.
Jeremy from Kansas City, welcome to Back Office Radio.
Hey, guys, how are you today?
Doing great, bro.
Hey, I just have to defend Will on this one. I'm 38 years old. I have a 2.5-year-old, a 14-year-old, and I remember when my daughter was first born and I got that first chance to kind of get out and about, and, you know, you don't have to worry about kids. And I got a little bit, loose and a little crazy like he did, so I just wish people would cut him a little slack. And I love Howard to death, but when he was like, man, what is it with you and your sports? I'm a diehard Packers fan. My 2.5-year-old has her Packers jersey. My wife has her Packers jersey, my 14-year-old. So we kind of make it a big family event. So when I hear, man, lay off the sports, he's a diehard sports fan, and why can't he still enjoy it? And as Will will know, and as I learned, I got way wasted a few times like that. And then you just learn you have certain times where you can go out. And man, after having a kid, he needed a little break. So I'm here to defend Will, because I think he does an awesome job, as well as Shula. I love all you guys. You guys keep me going through the day.
Oh, well, thank you, Jeremy. Kansas City. Yeah. So, all right. So there's someone who understands being a young father.
And that guy couldn't be more on when he says, life is just work all the time now, Jason. Yeah. I don't know what to tell you. Shuli can tell you. It's not like you leave here and you go relax. You go. This is like your second job.
Second or third job,
exactly.
Depending on how much
who told you to have a fucking kid?
Well, no, of course, and I'm not whining about it, but I'm saying when you do get that break, when you do get 3 fucking hours to yourself where there's no consequences to what you do, you might get a little crazy.
Oh,
because you know what I used to be.
Well, I actually wrote down some of my favorite Will drunk stories, and we'll go to them in a second. But first, Joe in Staten Island, welcome to Back Office Radio.
What's up, guys? Big fan of the show.
Thank you.
Is it too early to nominate Douche of the Week?
It's never too early. You can start on Fridays, actually. But go ahead.
It's definitely Shuli.
Shuli?
Ooh. I thought Will was going to nominate.
He's not on my list, but okay, why Shuli?
For a few reasons. I mean, number one, yeah, he did throw Will underneath the bus.
And I applaud, not for throwing Will under the bus.
You should have seen me when I was pouring all that alcohol down his throat.
I think he date raped me.
Yeah.
Shanked you. Yeah, okay, so next.
Well, and he's always like bitching at everybody with these block parties.
You know, that is an interesting point I wanted to ask you about. So, Scott Salem, Sal the stockbroker, and now Scott the Pace.
Right.
So, you always come back from one of these things now seemingly violently angry.
Well, look at the team that's surrounding me. How do I not? How do I not, Jason?
I don't know. I'm just asking, is that, what's going on? I don't know what.
Well, Scott was just a giant pain in the ass. I mean, we all know that saga, and that has ended. As far as DePace, it was just like, look, as drunk as Will was, he wasn't causing a disturbance during the show. He wasn't being an asshole in the middle of the show and shitting on what the comics are trying to do.
So, let me jump into one of my all-time top 3 Will drunken moments. Will, please tell us the story about the time you and your buddies went down to Philly to watch Casey Armstrong do stand-up.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That might have been the drunkest we've ever been. Like it was Casey and the Reverend Bob Levy, and I think they were just horrified with us. So my friend passed out before we even made it to the comedy show. He was literally snoring during their set.
Drunk.
Yeah. Then we were making towers with the shot glasses. We kept ordering shots and then making towers. And we got it about 15 high, and they just fell all over the floor in the middle of the set. So we took the shot glasses and started throwing them against the wall.
I owe DePace an apology. I'm sorry.
Finally, eventually we get kicked out and they go, listen, you guys got to go. We call the cops, right? So we jump in the car. My one buddy gets in with us and he goes, oh, no, there's no way I can drive with you guys. You're way too drunk, right? So we literally start taking off and we pushed him out of the car. He rolled out of the car at 25 miles an hour. We're like in Cherry Hill, so we're right on the Pennsylvania-New Jersey border. We start heading for the bridge. Next thing you know, lights behind us, right? I'm hammered. I'm just woo, this is awesome.
You think you're at a club.
Right. The car had been stopped for 10 minutes at that point before I finally understood what was going on. I turn around and there's literally 5 or 6 cop cars behind us and the cops all have their guns drawn.
Oh my God.
So, we lay down on the ground. They arrested my buddy. We ended up staying at a hotel that night. And, my buddy that we threw out of the car, we were in the hotel. We probably got back to the hotel about, midnight.
All scarred up.
He comes walking in at 6 a.m. He had walked through 75 yards to get to the hotel where we were staying.
Christ. KC, who by the way is a
maniac.
He was freaked out. He was freaked out, right?
He was like, what the hell is wrong with you guys? That was
scared
insane.
Him.
When KC sobers up and goes, hey, Will, man, you all right? You okay?
Yeah,
you got a problem?
That was one of those. I'm glad you remembered that story. That
Do you
crazy.
know that the single craziest thing I've ever done in my life was just listening to that story?
Not even anything close to that.
All right, well, let's wrap this up real quick. I'm going to ask you rapid fire questions here. Are you mad at anyone in the office who has been not who recorded you and put you on, but since this got out, I know there's been a lot of jokes put up on the screen for Howard, on our Moldred system, a lot of bits being written. Any anger at anybody, and are you making a hit list?
Well, yeah, there's a couple, people have been making jokes on the system that we use for Moldred. And there's a guy, Michael Fox, that works here. We used him last week. He was the guy making out with High Pitch Mike, and he's just been obnoxious about it because he clearly wants to be a star. So he's like, well, since everybody around here wants to be a star now, I'm like, no, take me off that list, douchebag. I do not, one drunken rambling does not make me want to be a star. I promise you. So, I don't know. Other than that, I still love Sholey.
Of course.
I had fun at the block party. What am I going to say?
Well, we'll talk
a
more.
big hit, yeah.
We will talk more about you at the block party and not just you being drunk. I mean, you doing your stand up and everything you observed while you were there a little bit later in the show. But first, let's quickly get to our last state of the office.
Back Office Radio hit the big time this week when Howard played clips on his show. He started by highlighting the Will Murray-Lisa G feud.
So you think the whole story is a lie?
I have no idea what they're talking about.
You never had a lunch where you ordered for everyone?
No.
No?
How did they get this story?
Will and
I
Jason.
can see, look, it's not that far from what had happened.
Right.
Then moved to Jason's disturbing masturbation habits.
And then I found out that Jason got caught by his wife masturbating. That's disgusting. And it was a disgusting story, too.
And finished with Teddy's love of Punchy Punch with his 90-pound wife.
Punchy Punch? What, are you bored?
No.
The wife looks like a hot piece of ass, man. Bang her. Don't hit her.
I'm not hitting her.
Were these guys excited to be featured on Howard's show? Did the clips lead to fallout at home or in the office? Who did Howard hit the hardest?
Well, as long as we're asking who got hit the hardest, Teddy? Poppy?
Poppy got hit the hardest.
Jesus, bad joke.
Not Teddy. His new nickname's Ike.
Yeah, Ike.
Teddy Kennedy. Was there fallout from this week's Back Office?
No,
How did your wife handle the information?
Conveniently, we only have one online subscription, so
she didn't hear.
She heard it later in the day when I was forced to play it. But
and now her jaw's wired shut, so she can't talk.
Yeah, she'll never make that mistake again. No, there was just like during the day, like, why am I getting texts? But that's it. No, honestly, I have the coolest wife in the world. She thought it was, she thought again. She's actually kind of. Well,
scared?
She thinks Gary basically, Gary just loves to, I don't know, embellish the word. It's like, yeah, and then they went to the hospital. Yeah, and then they did this. Like, he adds little, facts that
I just wish you'd own it a little bit. Like, when you were on Howard's show, you were just going, no, that's not true. But
it is.
I mean, all that shit
No,
happened.
dude, Will, I mean, you don't understand. This is like, I don't want to get fucking branded as some kind of domestic, because that's not
Teddy,
what we do.
Teddy, perception is
you
very
guys hang
fragile.
out with us more than
Yeah. No, we hang out
normal.
with you.
And you shouldn't make it sound like we fucking fight every time we hang out.
No.
You're a lovely couple.
I
I
haven't
love
fought-
Poppy. You two clearly love each other. But when there are moments, and it happens more than once a year, and when you guys get drunk, and it starts with a little, physical play, and then sometimes it goes to an area that I've never gone to with a girl. But again, you're not beating on her, or she's not beating on you. This is a mutual thing, and it happens.
It happened. I mean, it really doesn't happen anymore. I
think what
swear to
Jason-
God, it
I
doesn't.
think-
We'll bicker, but that's it.
But what Jason's trying to say is there's a difference between slug bug and then jumping off the top rope with an elbow.
Yeah, I mean-
so,
No, honestly, no, there's been no fallout. Everything's fine. And I'm just, now I have to sit here and try and dig myself out of this hole as some abuser. I mean, people are writing me on Twitter you're the domestic violence. It's
There was some story about Teddy online today about
exactly.
Yeah, exactly.
Where?
What was
I'm
it?
gonna tweet it out now.
What is it?
It was the Examiner.com.
Examiner.com. Howard staff out of control.
Yeah, right. Domestic abuse or
Listen,
something.
but Will's right. Own it. I mean, Tyson said the greatest right hand he ever threw was at Robin Gibbons. And he's still getting work.
Did
so.
Ben Bardo make a comment to your wife at my party that upset her?
Yeah,
about this whole situation.
And that's funny because was it before? Yeah, I mean, obviously it was before Howard talked about it. But yeah, I mean, he was just like, yeah, she likes to take a punch. It was just an
we're
awkward
sitting around.
moment.
It's kind of weird. We're at your house, and Ben Bardo, who works on the tapes team,
and who doesn't drink or smoke, so he's totally sober.
Yeah,
at the
everyone
party.
was kind of sober at that point, and Teddy and Poppy come in, and
Yeah,
we're
we
like,
just
hey.
got there.
We're all saying hello, whatever, and somehow Ben said, "Hey, yeah, Poppy can take a punch," and everyone's just sitting there awkwardly, like, "Does Poppy even know what this means?" And why are we even bringing this up now?
Hey,
Yeah,
give us
it
a
was-
call,
it was
888-STERN-101 to jump in on this conversation, to nominate your douche of the week. Again, that's 888-783-7610. Will, again, fallout from Back Office Radio. You went head-to-head with Lisa G on Howard's show this week about our Page 69 story on her. And as you heard in that clip, she talks out of both sides of her mouth. She goes, no, it's false, it's false. Well, it's really close to what actually happened.
She's slick, man. She's hard to nail down. She's been in this business a long time. So when you want to try and, peg her on something, you got to have your shit in order. Because, she goes, I forget. I don't remember. But we actually got some new great Lisa G information that we can probably give now, right?
I don't remember what it is, so yes.
Well, we're talking about, she's got the big photo shoot with Howard.
Oh, right.
So she left work early yesterday to prepare for the show.
I believe Shirley, was he out by 1:30?
I think she left by 2.
Yeah, no, I saw her on the way out.
Okay, 2.
She's taking the day off. She's taking the day off today.
She's taking the whole day off.
Taking the whole day off so she can,
well, she
focus on the shoot.
She must be getting us some good clips and news stories.
And
for
that's the
Howard
other
100
thing.
News.
She's not bringing a recorder with her.
What?
No.
Well, let me update this. So as of yesterday, I just asked her as she was leaving, you coming in tomorrow? She says, no, I have to head out to whatever location. And I said, okay, you taking your recorder, right? And she says, nah, I didn't think I was going to do that. I didn't want to bother with it. I said, well, look, I'm not saying, sneaking on and do a Will Murray on the guy. I'm saying bring the recorder. And at the end of the photo shoot, say, Howard, would you mind giving us a bite or two, just for the news? And she goes, oh, yeah, maybe you're right. And I did see her go back in her drawer. She did grab the recorder. Whether or not she brought it, I don't know.
I will bet $50 right now that she comes back with little to no audio, but a great shot of her, Howard, and Beth together.
Exactly. I was going to bet no audio, great picture.
Great picture. All right, so maybe we'll get some maybe Lisa G will call in during the show with some breaking exclusive news, although I highly doubt it. And one last little bit of back office reaction. I found out we have a gigantic fan of the show in one Mrs. Debbie Hine. Debbie was up here last
John
week.
Hine's wife?
John Hine's wife. I asked her if I was starting to tell her about how we named her as one of the staff members' wives we'd like to see in a sex tape. And she goes, I know! I heard the whole thing. I loved it. She started blushing. I go, oh wow, did John play it for you? And she goes, no, she goes, I love the show. I listen every week now. She said that she gets home from work at noon on Thursdays and she just goes in the house and turns on the radio.
Wow. I think John banned it in the house. So she's got to listen secretly.
We got to go out to a break, but we have so much to get to, including we're going to come back with Douche of the Week nominees. Please call in 888-STERN-101 to make sure you get your nominations in. We also have Page 69 coming up and Back Office Spotlight on Tim's assistant. It's craziness. There's too much to talk about on Back Office Radio, only on Howard 101.
Like Teddy gives a flying fuck. Back Office Radio with Will and Jason on Howard 101.
Boy, ain't that the truth. Hey, welcome back to Back Office Radio, only on Howard 101.
I think Teddy hates this show.
No.
Well, only because it's making him work. Hey, we got some great tweets coming in.
For a fat guy, you're really fast.
Will Back Office Radio be taking up a collection to buy Will a bike for those back pedals?
Hello. Wolfie Gem.
Love Back Office Radio is the dark version of the wrap-up show. Douche of the Week is a toss-up between Jason for being brutal on radio and Will for being so obnoxious and angry. Yeah, so lots of nice tweets coming in here. Someone comparing Teddy to Artie, and in terms of how the beatdowns he supposedly puts on people.
Were you just reading the Teddy story?
Teddy the wife beater. Oh, and I just tweeted
It's like
out
3 pages long.
Oh, it's so bad.
I just tweeted out. They tweeted on at Stern Show or at Sirius J. I apologize. At Sirius J, I tweeted out a link to the Teddy story.
Excuse me, at Sirius J, isn't that what you came down on JD for?
I didn't want to.
really.
Hold on a second. You're right. I just didn't want to misuse Howard's Twitter feed, but.
Hey,
Yeah,
by the
actually,
way,
don't put it on Stern Show. It's better on Sirius J.
Hey, it's part of the show, man.
You know what?
I didn't want those damn clips played.
Yeah. Well,
Right?
go check it out at Stern Show, at Sirius J. We'll have it up there. Welcome back to the show.
Hold on. One thing about the Teddy story that I forgot to throw in was I heard a report that Doug Goodstein is like extra pissed off at you.
Why?
Like, oh, how dare he hit a woman like that?
Oh,
Like, he was disgusted by it.
Yeah, well.
The Widow Goodstein.
Widow Goodstein.
For anyone who's not
File that under who gives a shit.
a long-term... For anyone who's not a long-term fan of the show, we call Doug Widow Goodstein. Actually, Howard calls him Widow Goodstein because he acts like a widow. When Hank the Dwarf died, he takes everything so hard. He's a drama queen. Doug Goodstein is a drama queen of the highest order.
He bought me off yesterday, so I can't badmouth
What do you mean he
him.
bought you off?
He gave us like 50 pairs of kids' shoes yesterday.
Oh, but he's going to ask
He's
for
going to
them
ask
back.
from back. Yeah, asshole. Why would you take anything from him?
I had that conversation. I said, Doug, these are mine, right? He said, yes.
Well, listen, we can't talk about the Doug thing and any baby clothes, okay? So I'm not going to talk about Doug giving you any baby clothes.
Well, I'm just going to say thank you, Doug. It was very nice of you.
It was very
And
nice.
I like Doug.
Teddy,
Doug and I get along. Doug and I get along fine. I mean, he's got to know that I'm not a wife beater. God damn it!
No, of course you're not.
Punchy punch.
I might wear them on Sundays, but I'm not a wife beater.
Yeah. All right. Listen. Let's just get to douche of the week because we're talking about Doug. It sounds like it's time to name a douche.
Douche of the week.
All right, Teddy. Let's start with you as long as we're talking to you.
I've got one that's kind of from left field this week. My nominee for douche of the week is J.D. Harmeyer.
Ooh, I like it.
Yes.
Why?
And my good friend J.D. Harmeyer, who, if I keep talking, will come running down here. Hopefully, he's eating his hands again. Yeah. You remember when he's chewing on his fingers and you can see bone? Well, that's happening again. I looked at his hands the other day. I mean, it must be from Jason because it's got to be stress related. And like
It's
this
awful.
whole back office radio and Jason being his new boss and all this stuff or whatever.
Oh.
But I looked at his mangled fingers the other day and I was
Oh.
like, dude, seriously, we've got to do something about this. I feel terrible. His thumb has got no flesh left on it whatsoever.
Listen, the guy doesn't make a lot of money. It's the only thing he has left to eat.
Speaking
himself.
of being JD's boss, JD announced in the news that he unfollowed me on Twitter. Let me explain something to the audience. JD shouldn't be on Twitter right now. Howard's told him twice to cancel his Twitter account. I've told him to cancel his Twitter account on behalf of Howard. And quite frankly, any real fan of the show that still follows JD is basically giving Howard a big fuck you. So Howard said twice that he doesn't want JD on Twitter anymore. If you're a real fan of the Howard Stern Show and you follow JD Harmeyer, you're basically giving the middle finger to Howard. I implore anybody out there that loves Howard Stern and the show to unfollow JD immediately. Immediately. And I'm not doing this to be mean to JD. I'm doing him a favor.
No, not at all.
I'm doing him a
Of course.
favor. I don't want him to get in trouble with Howard again. Laura Reed from Massapequa, welcome to Back Office Radio.
Jason, you're a real dick.
I know.
You are such a dick. I'm listening to this and I'm thinking, the poor JD, he has no defense. You're like fighting with a retard.
Hey, can I tell you something about poor JD?
I think he
for
just
1
ate his
second?
pinky.
There is no poor JD. Let me break down JD for you for a second. He is a guy that has an entire life now, not because of the show, but he has a life now because of his hard work that he's put into this show. He works on the greatest radio show / TV show in the history of the world. He lives and works in the #1 city in the world. He gets paid thousands of dollars to do appearances on the weekends, and he's fucking girls all over the country and somehow keeping it on the DL. There is no poor JD. JD is living a life. If I describe that life for any other person, you would go, wow, that guy's living a life.
Yeah.
Well, you have a point, but he is a little slow, and you...
He's not slow. He's very smart. JD is
We're still
very
waiting for him
smart.
to come down here.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't know if
But
that's
anyway,
happening.
speaking
He's a
of
fat
the
guy.
#1 city in the world,
yes.
Will is a dick
Thank
for
you.
picking on New Yorkers. Listen, you make a nice living here, and dealing, you should have some respect for the New York area and the New York sports teams.
Why? Respect. I'll agree with everything, but the New York sports teams, F them.
Well, I think you should just keep your mouth shut about it. Like, I hope somebody decks you one of these days.
Whoa.
Jesus,
wow.
man.
Wow. You see that? No, I don't like a New Yorker. What's that about?
I don't like the city. I don't like cities in general. I'm like a country boy. I like being out in the middle of nowhere where I don't have to deal with people.
Swish in Indiana. Welcome to Back Office Radio.
Hey, douche of the week is Teddy, man.
Thank you.
Yeah.
You gotta, you gotta take a little bit of the clips from last week's Back Office Radio and then play them at the same time as him backtracking with Howard. Dude, you were laughing about it last week and it was so funny and then it was awesome. And then Howard brought it up and you're like, that was one time. It barely happened.
Well, he's right. I mean, I was laughing about it because I told the story as like an honest.
Well, it's funny when people are judging
story
you.
about an epic fight I got into with my girlfriend at the time, and I didn't think it was going to get totally snowballed into this investigation on domestic abuse. I mean, it's just it's fallout
You
for me
thought-
being honest and telling. We laugh about it now in our lives, in our relationship.
Wait, hold on. You think that you could get away with saying you picked up your wife and threw her against the wall, breaking her ankle, and you can get away with that?
I didn't say I broke her ankle. I said she twisted her ankle on the way down. That's nothing to do with me.
Sounds like Tim's ribs.
Nothing to do with you. All right, that's crazy. Hey, by the way, while Teddy was talking, I went and unfollowed JD Harmeyer. So I am following
official.
my own advice, and I hope everyone else out there does it too. It's for JD's own good. We don't want to get in trouble. All right, Will, I'm gonna go. Well, why don't you do your nominee for douche of the week?
It's pretty predictable. I was initially thinking Shuley for killing me, but now I'm going with myself as douche.
Douche of the week.
It's pretty self-explanatory. I acted like a douche. I deserve to be nominated.
I can't argue with your nomination.
Thank you. That's all I got to say about it. I mean, Christ,
well,
we just been
I'll
through
say
this.
a little bit more about it because I had a long talk with my wife Janice last night about who my douche of the week was going to be. Because on the one hand, I really wanted it to be Scott the Pace because I just think the way he treated Shuley and his attitude and his inability to just say, "Hey man, you're right. I'm sorry if I interrupted you during your act." Or, just his arrogance and his everything about him is just douchey. He just when he screams at you, when he gets in an argument with you, there's no substance there. He just calls you an idiot, or he calls me fat, or he calls someone stupid. There's no actual substance in the argument. And we had a run-in in the hall the other morning, which is proof that Scott the Pace can't take a joke, which is, Howard had mentioned doing some sort of back office, behind the scenes show for Howard TV, like something different than we already have. And it was floated out there that the Pace might be a good person to host it. And I agreed. And I was telling Scott that in the hall. I'm like, yeah, I think this is something that would be awesome. And I think you'd be really good at it. And he goes, well, what am I going to do? Just go back there and videotape you typing all show? Well, who wants to watch that?
He loves to call you a typist. He thinks that's the only thing you do.
I know. So I go, well, what's so fascinating about your job? You go, ready camera one, take camera one. Ready camera two, take camera two. He got so angry and so defensive. You don't know what I do. You have no idea what I do. I go, Scott, how could you on the one hand stand here and minimize my job to just being a typist and laugh about it and think it's funny? And the second I minimize your job, you fly off the deep end. So I really want to make him my douche of the week. But on the other hand, you cannot listen to you drunk on those clips and not think that you're the biggest douche.
Oh, fuck you.
But the conversation I had with Jans was like, I don't want to nominate Will for douche of the week because he's had a hard week. And like I said many times, I love you. And I'm sure there was going to be enough people nominating you for douche of the week. So since you nominated yourself for douche of the week, I will give my nominee to Scott the Pace. Second week in a row, someone's nominated him as their
douche of the week.
So that is.
So what do we have there? We have
JD,
Scott the Pace, myself, and JD.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I wonder if JD has dipping sauces for his fingers. Do you think?
Oh, I love dipping sauce.
You think that's the reason his breath is so bad? All that dead skin?
Oh, okay. No joke. I swear to God, this is true. And I'm not just saying this to pile on poor JD, poor little helpless, defenseless JD Harmeyer. But his breath reeked the other day.
Oh, come on.
No,
Stop.
like it did. I asked. Well, I walked into Tracy's office. I was like, "Holy crap!" Jim in Beverly Hills. Who do you nominate for douche of the week?
Guys, for me, it's a no-brainer. How could it be anybody other than John Lieberman? He was on top of the world after Shitgate, and then he just ruined his whole journalism career, in my opinion, with the wedding incident, followed by the cowardice he displayed in the fields, driving around with Ronnie Mund. And finally, yesterday, I mean, I couldn't even believe my ears when he rapped. It was like, how could an objective journalist honestly consider that he can rap? Like, he had no idea.
Well, speaking of, we skipped a little bit in the beginning of the show. We're going to talk about our favorite moments of the week, and I know Will loved the rap battle.
It had to be top 5 at Sirius and top 10 since I've been working at the Stern Show. It really was one of those moments where everybody was laughing so hard they were crying.
It was hilarious, and excuse me, it really was, I think, way more embarrassing. I think that really is embarrassing for John Lieberman. I think that I don't know. I think what Lieberman did is more embarrassing than your drunk tapes.
Yeah, I mean, just because he was first he was sober, so that already is a strike against you. But yeah, I mean, he truly believes he's a good rapper. Right? I mean, what planet is he on?
Well, so we asked John and Shuli and High Pitch Mike to keep an ear out for news stories that might work for the underreported news story of the week. And John Lieberman goes, hey, this is an underreported news story of the week. And the underreported story he sent us was his buddy from college defending John, saying what a great rapper he was back in college.
Yeah. And just going with the caller was talking about Lieberman in that car with Ronnie, and his whole excuse was, well, he was injured in a car accident when he was younger. Well, I mean,
no, it was a hockey accident, right?
I thought he was. Oh, look, here we go.
He caught a hockey puck to the face.
Yeah, but then there was something about he was in a car accident. Did you talk about that on the air, or was that just in your?
No, the eye thing. No, it's in that blog.
No.
John
He
Lieberman
said
blog.
one of the reasons that he was scared in the pace car was he was in a bad car accident when he was younger.
You can read that on John Lieberman's blog.
But like, I mean, I was in lots of car accidents. You know.
Sorry, what? We have a delay back
only
there, so I
wrap
couldn't hear
your
what you're
answers,
talking about.
please. Only wrap your answers.
What do you want?
Yo,
lots of
John.
things. First of all, is how can you not realize that you're an awful rapper? For one.
Go on. What's next?
Well, are you going to answer the question?
Well, I had a bad performance this week. I told you that.
Well, did you listen to yourself on the wrap-up show?
Still buying into this.
Did you listen to yourself on the wrap-up show?
Yes.
Okay. Do you think you did a good job on the wrap-up show?
No, the whole day, I haven't felt all that well this week. I'm not going to make excuses, though, but I think I can rap. Yes.
Did you find
But what did that guy call in and say? Something about me not being a journalist?
Well, whatever. He just said it's hard to take you seriously, but we all know that.
Let me tell that guy something.
Wrap
okay?
it. Please,
Seriously.
Please wrap it. Please wrap it.
You know, I spend, I would say 30 hours a week outside of this place. Come on, guys. I'm not fucking around. All right.
We are.
Never mind. I'll get back to him.
Hey, actually, can I interrupt? Are you done with John right now? Because I got something for John as long as he's done.
The one other thing I wanted to say was your excuse for why you were so scared in the pace car going 40 miles an hour was that you were in an accident before?
Will, it wasn't 40 miles an hour.
You
it
hit
was
the mat,
60. It was 67, and you're comparing it to a highway. I know it sounds like
right,
we
you
were
going in a
slow.
circle. Excuse me, not a straight line.
Ask the race professionals that were out there. They were surprised that Ronnie was hitting
they
those
called you a pussy
speeds.
too.
They were surprised Ronnie was hitting those speeds. I said, I don't like thrill rides. I don't like roller coasters. I don't like, and it felt very fast in there. And I didn't have control. And I have, Will. I've almost died a number of different times.
Yeah, so have I.
Okay, I know.
Swah.
So we're different. I don't like thrill rides, and I'm sure you have your things.
You don't think rap battling is kind of a thrill ride?
No,
Especially
because I have
against
control over my poor performances.
bad rap battling?
When I am in a pace car with somebody who thinks they're a race car driver, I don't have control over that.
Okay. I mean, what were you going to say, Jason?
Well,
those are awful arguments.
As long as John's down here, this wasn't on the plan. This wasn't on the rundown. But as long as he's down here, I'd be remiss. Teddy, can you hit my intro music, please?
This one?
Yes. Well, don't we have a fat guy, like now a fat guy minute? Fat guy segment? Well, whatever. While Teddy looks for that. While Teddy looks for that, we don't have it. Okay, well, John, now that you're down here, I'm going to do a very, very short fat guy minute. And it is to introduce you and welcome you to the Fat Guy Club. Welcome, John.
Oh.
John, you're huge. Compared to where you were when you started here.
Breaking.
What happened? How did you get there? I'm asking as a fan, not a...
Are you being serious?
Yeah, I'm being serious.
I think you look
lost.
good.
I actually lost.
Take the coat off and stand sideways. Let me take a picture of you.
No.
Why? You're so skinny. Come on, let me do it.
He wants his ass to match his head.
Now, this is going to really piss me off. I went on a low-carb diet when I got here.
Yeah.
And I lost, like, I would say 10 pounds. And, you know, I haven't kept it all off, but I would not say I'm fat.
No. You're welcome to the Fat Guy Club. You're not skinny. What size pants are those that are under your belly?
These are 34s.
Under your belly. That is under. Stop sucking it in.
I'm not sucking it in. This is my belt. These are 34s.
That poor belt.
I wear a 40.
It's under a lot of strain.
I wear a 44
John, get yourself
regular.
under control.
I wear a 44 regular jacket and a 34 pants.
And now,
See, you're doing. You're doing this because you know how to push my buttons. I am not fat. In fact, I
You're big boned.
was looking at myself on the air on television the other day, thinking I look pretty good.
Portly?
No, not portly.
That I look pretty good. Do you
Jesus,
think
he
you're
was at
skinny?
18 before he got fat.
No, I've never been skinny. I wouldn't say I'm skinny, but I wouldn't say I'm fat.
Do you have a gut?
Yeah.
Okay, are you probably heavier now than you have been in the last 6 months?
No.
No.
I don't think so.
Well, why don't you go weigh yourself?
No, I lost some
Someone
weight.
go watch him.
I haven't been going to the gym as much recently.
I'm not saying it's negative. I'm a fat guy. I love that our club
No,
is
but
getting
I'm not a
literally
fat
bigger.
guy. I don't want to be seen as a fat
You
guy.
are, and you are.
Pleasantly plump.
You and JD, you could keep railing that you're not fat, but you are.
2 peas in a pod. Do you eat your fingers too?
What? And you're now piling on. I am not fat, and I don't eat my fingers.
Say it louder. Steve in New York, welcome to Back Office Radio.
Am I done?
Hold on, wait. Can we get one more?
Go
rap?
wherever you want,
One more-
man.
let's
No one
hit it.
asked you to come down
Redeem
here.
yourself. Redeem yourself right now.
I don't know.
Come on. Redeem yourself.
How bad my raps are, how fat I fucking am.
Yeah.
All right?
Well, you want to say something nice about you? That's for off air. You're great. You're great addition to the team.
You're great. I'm not fat, and I had a bad week rapping, and I haven't been feeling well
Go
this
ahead,
week.
redeem yourself. Hit it.
No, I'm not in the mood to rap.
My name's John L, and I'm not fat.
Oh,
I don't care
Jesus.
what Jason says. He's not all that. Go, John. Go, John. Go, John.
Oh, now Jim's throwing notes. What did he say?
He said you rap as well as you dress.
And you look pretty gay. Oh, go, John. Go, John. Go, John.
Oh, and now he's saying it's not him. Oh, yeah. Somebody, osmosis through your head? I can't see that.
By the way,
I got a glass eye.
The only thing worse than Lieberman rapping is Jason rapping.
Yeah, but I know that. I don't pass myself off as some great college rapper. Brian in California, who's your nominee for Douche of the Week?
That really pisses me off because
you're. Come on, you'll get that button. Hold on, keep trying. You'll get that button close.
John Hein. Hold on, what?
Oh, John Hein. I thought you were calling about John Lieberman. Well, what do you want to say about John Hein?
Put me on hold and we'll get to John Hein in a minute.
Okay, I'll put you back on hold. Hey, by the way, we have a Twitter update. JD announced to his Twitter followers that he doesn't want anyone that listens to me to follow him on Twitter anyway. And I'm also getting a lot of tweets from some great fans out there that have already stopped unfollowing JD. They're helping him out. They're helping make sure that Howard doesn't get mad at him and that JD concentrates more on his work and not on Twitter. So let's have an unfollow JD Thursday. I love it.
Jason, I think you should unfollow food.
Nothing is tougher than two guys fighting over Twitter. Nothing.
Yeah, really.
I'm not fighting over
MMA,
Twitter.
eat your heart out.
Speaking of fighting over Twitter, wait till we get to page 69. Give us a call, 888-STERN-101, STERN-101 to join the conversation. I apologize, Tim. It's 888-STERN-101, 888-783-7610. When we come back, John will still be fat, but we will be moving on the back office spotlight. Oh, sorry, the mic was shaking. We will be working on the back office spotlight.
And page 69.
And page 69, but we will be meeting and introducing to the audience Sarah, Tim's assistant, her last day of work.
It all comes out, baby.
It's dangerous. We'll be right back, only on Howard 101.
Your home for office gossip. This is Back Office Radio with Will and Jason on Howard 101.
Welcome back to Back Office Radio. Reminding everyone you can call us at 888-STERN-101. That's 888-783-7610. And if you want to leave us a voicemail, we still have our voicemail set up, and we'll be playing some of the voicemails we got over the course of the week later in the show. If you want to leave us a voicemail, the number to call is 347-781-4335. That's 347-781-4335. Checking out Twitter and Teddy, somebody nominates you as Douche of the Week. They second that. Somebody else says, I can't stand Back Office Radio. Talk about terrible amateur radio. Thank you very much for that. Somebody suggested that John Lieberman's new rap name should be Biggie Biggie.
Okay.
The same person also wrote, I've learned that John doesn't like thrill rides, just drive-thrus.
I love that line. That was a good one.
That's funny. And I'm getting lots of tweets, people unfollowing JD. It's a movement. And again, we're doing this in JD's favor. And as long as we're talking some gossip, Will, and I'm looking for my page, I think we should go to page 69.
Page 69.
Why don't you do this first story, the one you're doing? This is the one I'm most excited about.
All right, this is a good one. I heard news. The news is even scared to report on this at this point. But we have a report that Tim Sabian, our program director, is no longer speaking to Scott the engineer.
Oh, wow, that's a big benefit to Tim.
Scott has passed Tim several times in the hallway without saying hello.
Wow.
Or excuse me, Tim has not said hello. And I think it's getting ugly between those two.
Well, I think getting ugly, it is ugly. I mean, I don't know how Scott Salem could talk to his boss like that on the radio in front of people and not expect him not to be mad at him about it.
Yeah, so that's what's going on right now.
All right, well, I got an update here. We got Jim, our producer, is saying that JD has lost a total of 50 Twitter followers so far. I know that's just a tiny, tiny, tiny drop in his 150,000 Twitter followers, but we're making it down. We're making a movement. Remember, real fans of the show would not follow JD on Twitter. And Will was pointing to, I'm sorry. Yeah,
you lost your page. I'm trying to give you page 69.
I found it. I'm sorry. So my report, Steve Warren, many people don't know who he is, and rightfully so. He's the guy that came in to fill in for Ralph Howard when Ralph got his lung transplant. Right. So he was the voice of Howard 100
He's the other voice of Howard 100
Right,
News.
he's the other voice of Howard 100 News. You know, Ralph Howard, because of his lung transplant and his age, he can't work as hard and as long as he used to. So Steve Warren steps in. Now, Steve has been here, I think, about 2 years. I don't know anything about him. He is a tall, very pale guy that walks around, and if you stop to talk to him, he'll talk to you about some Japanese radio station he runs.
Yeah, he's very involved in Chinese radio.
A Chinese radio. But our page 69 is that he was caught on video. I've seen the video. This is not hearsay. Caught on video on Cupcake Wednesday with a bag. And he was just piling cupcakes and cookies into his bag.
At least 4 cupcakes were put in the bag.
And then I've learned since investigating this that he sometimes comes in on his day off.
Yes.
To go grab cupcakes and cookies.
I think he uses them to feed his basement of Chinese kids.
No, that's alleged basement of Chinese kids. Alleged, no. Steve Warren, maybe we should turn a spotlight on him at some point because I literally don't know anything about him.
I don't either.
But
I think he likes it that way.
We're not putting a spotlight on him today. Instead, we shine a spotlight on someone else.
Back Office Spotlight. Sarah is 25 years old and lives in downtown Manhattan. She's an only child, raised in Connecticut, and has a communications degree from Penn State University. Her interests include horse riding, listening to shitty music, and hanging out with friends. Especially when it's at a Buffy the Vampire trivia night, here she is, Tim's former assistant, Sarah.
Oh, wow. That intro is just...
I don't know if the Rage Against the Machine was appropriate for Sarah.
I don't listen to shitty music.
Yeah, you do. Well, your original promos today, you're a big fan of Save the Day, and Will and I didn't even know what Save the Day was. We're like, what is she trying to say?
Oh, yeah. Really?
Yeah, you do listen to shitty music.
Awesome.
Yeah!
Hey!
It's like my favorite song.
But this is Sarah's last day.
They're a poor man's Alkaline Trio.
Yeah, right. Sarah's last day. Now, Jared was Tim's assistant for what, 3 years, Jimmy?
6 years.
6 years? All long
4
time.
years.
4
okay.
or 5 years.
Really?
4 years. And Sarah, how long have you been here?
Just about 2 years.
You've been here 2 years?
Yeah.
What?
Feels like it was just yesterday that I started, huh?
Is that real?
Yeah.
Damn, I thought you'd been here like 6 months. That's crazy. The time
almost
flies
2
like
years.
that. So I guess it's a pretty good amount of time to spend with Timmy, right?
It's a good run.
It's a lot. So it's always interesting because Tim has now had 2 assistants, and they're both very attractive for different reasons. One was Jared, who you can always know exactly how long he's been here because he grew an ab a year for every year he was in. So I think it's 4 or 5 abs at that point. And then he hires Sarah, this cute blonde, and she comes in and she's being squired around by Jared the first week they're here, and they look like a power couple. And how was that having Jared? Now Jared,
I know JD hated it.
Right.
Oh, JD hated it. Yeah.
I was actually a big Jared fan, him in the office. I know he could rub people the wrong way. I know he could come off as cocky and conceited. How did he come off to you when he was giving you the ropes? And what are some of the things he told you about the job?
Well, when I met Jared interviewed me for the job. And I remember sitting in reception and he walked through. I didn't know that he was Jared Fox, the person I was going to meet, and I saw this guy.
The Jared Fox.
The wind was blowing through his hair.
I mean, I see him, he struts through reception like he owns the place, and I'm like, God, look at that asshole. So cocky. Like, he's not my type, so I see guys like that, and I just...
You don't like super hot guys with chiseled abs and buns of steel?
I like those things. His personality is not necessarily my type, but I'm not going to deny
Jared's awesome. All you have to do is ask him.
He'll tell you all about it. No, he's very attractive, but he just seemed very cocky to me. And then sure enough, he comes back through and he's like, "Hey, are you Sarah?" And I was like, "Oh, great. This is the guy that's going to interview me. Awesome." Somehow the Sibian comes up in my interview.
What?
Yeah.
How does that come up?
I don't know.
I thought Jared was a professional.
I think he just wanted to know if I knew what it was. I don't know. My ex-boyfriend was terrified of me working with Jared Fox.
Was he your ex-boyfriend at the time or your current boyfriend?
He was my current boyfriend at the time.
And he didn't want, why? Because Jared was such a stud?
He had some boss in Florida that was like a huge fan of the show. And he was like, "Oh, my girlfriend's interviewing. with the Stern Show. And this guy was like, oh, that's awesome. Do you know who she's going to be working with or who's interviewing her? And he says, Jared Fox. And this guy goes, oh no. And he told him that he was like a major lady killer or whatever. So my ex hated Jared. He never met him. He hated him the whole time we were together. And then when I told him the Sybian came up in my interview, he was displeased.
All right. Well, Jared no longer works here, and quite frankly, we no longer talk to him. He's been back in New York. He flew out to L.A. He worked out there for a while. He's been back in New York for like 6 months, and no one's really heard from him.
But clearly, he left an impression because I mean, we were friends with Jared for the 4 years he was here,
right?
And I don't think he talked to any of us after he left. But you, Sarah, you had an ongoing relationship with him, right? Or
he called me like every day when he was in California.
Right, of course. He'll talk to hot chick. The rest of it, he doesn't want to talk to Jason.
Well, I blame him?
No, I kind of get that. When you put it that way, it's kind of
we stayed friends after he left. I mean, at first it was because I took over his job, so I needed to call him and ask him how do I do everything. And then once I kind of figured it out, then we just talked about whatever. And then he called me like pretty much every day on his lunch hour.
Didn't he call you like one time he was hiking up in the mountains? Like
I went hiking with him.
Oh, really?
Oh, what happened there?
Oh, it was awesome.
All right, let's just, back off this radio. Let's just cut to the chase. You ever sleep with Jared?
No.
You ever fuck Jared?
She looks like she's lying.
Well, I just want to say sleeping with it.
No, I swear. I know that there's
no hookup.
No. Okay, we kissed one time.
But
I like that. That's an
exclusive or anything else.
For a specific reason. It wasn't real. It wasn't a real kiss.
Yeah, because you're not a man.
Allegedly.
I was his beard. No, I took him.
Allegedly.
I took him as my escort to a party where my shitty ex-boyfriend, not the one that hated him, just another shitty. I date a lot of shitty guys, so it doesn't really matter which one it was. But
you date shitty guys, and even Jared was too shitty to date.
Yeah, well, it shows you how low my standards are. But I took him to a party because I wanted to make this guy jealous. I hadn't seen him, and I knew he was going to be an asshole, so I brought Jared. And at one point he was standing behind me and Jared was like, don't move. I'm going to kiss you.
Oh my.
And I was like, oh God.
I just got douche chills.
And I was like,
is it too late to nominate Jared for douche of the week?
Okay. So, but then he plays it off like, oh, I just threw up in my mouth. You're so disgusting. I can't believe I just did that.
Oh yeah. Good move.
So I'm disgusting, according to Jared. You can ask him. He tells me all the time how unattractive he finds me.
All right, well, Jared doesn't work here any longer, so let's get off of him and let's get on to somebody who finds you very attractive, and that's one Mr. J.D. Harmeyer.
Oh, J.D.
Now, J.D., of course, I'm asking, not we. I'll put it all on me. I'm asking everyone to unfollow J.D. to help him with his job. Now, I know that JD has a gigantic crush on you. It's not a secret. It's open. He makes comments about it all the time.
Right.
What have your interactions with JD been like over the last couple of years?
Well, I think that I should preface this by saying that I completely antagonize him.
In what way?
I don't think it's a secret.
Breathing.
I just
wearing hot clothes and being blonde.
She carries around bacon sandwiches.
No, I go in.
Do you walk around with bacon in your pocket to adjust JD?
I do. And he follows me around like a little puppy. No, I go in there and I definitely kind of like put it on a little bit and I flirt with him and I make him uncomfortable and then he asks me to leave.
Yeah, but doesn't he come on to you, doesn't he focus on weird parts of your body and say like,
like my calves?
Yeah, like, it's like really hot calves.
In the summer, I think I had on, the joke was that no one thought I owned pants because I always wore a skirt or a dress.
And anyone who complained about that, by the way, fire them immediately.
Nobody complained.
Oh, okay.
It was just the joke that I never wore pants. So I had on a skirt and I think I had on wedges or something. So when you wear heels, it like defines your calves.
Yeah.
And I go to the gym, so I have muscles in my legs, I guess, from that. And I must have turned in some way and he is looking down and he was like, you have really nice calves. I shouldn't have said that. You should probably leave.
Well, in JD's defense, it is the meatiest part of somebody.
I mean, but you know what? I don't know. I love JD. He's harmless. He doesn't freak me out. If he freaked me out, I wouldn't go visit him in his office.
Didn't he ask you one time, like straight up, to have sex with him?
In the green room?
Yeah.
Or the bathroom.
Well, you tell me. It's your story.
How many different times did this happen?
My wedding.
He did?
No. Well,
at Teddy's wedding?
He was supposed to get the jacuzzi room.
Oh, yeah.
Right? JD was going to get a jacuzzi.
Everybody was trying to sleep with Sarah at Teddy's wedding.
No, but here's the thing. This is like an example of me antagonizing him. I'm asking him if he got his room reserved for Teddy's wedding, and he said not yet. I'm like, well, you better do that because they're going to get all booked up or whatever. He finds a room that has this like jacuzzi bathtub.
By the way, can I just interject? Jacuzzi bathtub meant a slightly bigger bathtub than all the other rooms.
Yeah,
I saw
I know.
it.
We're at a horse track in upstate New York.
Yeah, this isn't like the honeymoon suite.
Yeah,
but,
right.
He was showing me pictures of it, and I was like, wow, that's a nice room. a big bathtub. And he's like, yeah, if I get it, like you should come be in it. You should be in the bathtub.
What a charmer. Slow down.
So then I told him, I bring this on myself. I told him that if he got the jacuzzi room that and I was reading 50 Shades of Grey at the time. And I think we were talking about that, and I wear this handcuff necklace, and then there was this big bondage conversation one day between me and like the Howard TV guys. So like all this stuff is kind of out already. And I told him that I would sit in the bathtub and read 50 Shades of Grey to him.
Really? Bondage stuff with you?
Yeah.
What bondage stuff? I must have missed it. Underreported Howard 100 News Story.
You weren't there. No, it's because I wear this.
Yeah, I know the handcuffs. I didn't even know it was handcuffs until you just said that.
Well,
but
I wear this necklace
because you're into bondage.
I'm not like into bondage. Like in what way? Like scary way?
Well, let's put it this way: if I wore like a Mickey Mouse necklace, and someone asked me, "Hey, are you into Mickey Mouse?" I'd be like, "Yeah, I guess I am." So you're wearing handcuffs.
You should wear a turkey necklace, Jason.
Buy me one, sir.
I mean, isn't everyone into it a little bit to a certain extent? I mean,
well, yes, but not everybody wears handcuff necklace. So I'm asking. It seems to be displaying. Hey, this is something that's is important to me.
It's not important to me. It's just whatever. It's a necklace. But the Howard TV guys were like, "Oh, like, what's that? Do you want to do that? Do you have those?" And
everyone around here is a pervert. It's like unbelievable.
Oh, yeah.
There's like no professionalism.
Ever since I resigned, it's been like,
are the floodgates open?
Holy shit!
Oh, come on, will you name names? Who's come and hit on you since you announced you're leaving?
None of it is real. It's all like
okay. Well, who fake hit on you ever since you announced?
Who wants to be your friend the most?
Yeah. Who's looking to stay in touch? Because I guarantee you, this is the last conversation we're probably ever going to have. I mean, I don't mean that in a mean way.
Wow.
No, it's the truth. I like you, but we never hang out. I'll go to your yard and
you
go.
You didn't invite me to your fucking.
I should have. That was a fuck up. There's a lot of people didn't get invited.
I enjoy both of those things.
You know what?
Thanks.
No excuse. Although you come to Hoboken a lot and never call me to hang out.
Ooh. Wait, hold on. I want to get back to this list.
All right. My favorite one had to be Phelan.
What do you say?
Brian Phelan?
My favorite.
Married father of 3. Yes. Go ahead.
What do you say?
I think I was coming up to the door to the compound by the kitchen, and he could see me through the glass, and he was walking by, and then he stopped and kind of like leaned back and was just looking through the glass at me, and I came through and I was like, what's up? And he's like, you're just so hot. I just wanted to see you. And I was like, oh, okay. So then I'm walking down the hallway and I'm like, oh, are you walking out for the day? And he's like, he was like, yeah. I'm gonna walk behind you, and I'm gonna stare at your hiney. Hey, no, it gets better. Hold on. I'm gonna stare at your hiney because it's a good one.
Wow.
It actually gets better than that, and because I had on leggings, and like if you're wearing leggings, you can see your ass. Like I'm wearing
leggings.
I'm wearing like a
Okay.
So my shirt wasn't long enough to cover my butt, so it's like you can see my ass essentially. And so he's like, it's a good one or whatever. And I'm like, oh, Phelan, stop it! Like you're gonna make my ego big. And I totally teed him up for this.
I see where it's going already.
He's like, you make my dick big.
Brian, come on!
Holy shit!
First of all, hiney is like a word from the 1930s. I don't even know what that's about.
It was weird that it went from hiney to dick.
There's like nothing subtle about it. You make my dick big.
But I mean, like, he's kidding.
What a turn on.
Kidding.
What part is he kidding about?
Oh, he's kidding.
I don't know.
I need to get a picture.
I don't feel violated. I don't feel weird about it at all.
You should, though.
I feel violated.
I feel violated by
Holy
that.
shit.
I don't.
I'm now thinking of Brian's dick for some reason.
Don't think about his dick. It's all in good fun. Seriously. It's like, I don't think
speaking of all in good fun, somebody who has had no problem hitting on you before you announced you were getting quitting is Teddy.
What?
Teddy hit on me?
I hit on her?
Okay, let me explain.
Neither of them are going to admit to anything.
So, yeah, right. So you guys don't need to talk. Will and I will explain what happened.
Oh, go for it.
Goody.
Since Sarah's pretty much first day here, her office buddy, her best friend and me has been Teddy Knitter. And they would be in the back of the office sitting down talking and
They're
talking.
attached to the hip when Brian's penis isn't in the way.
Yeah, right. They go out drinking every morning. They're both coming in hungover, and I go, "What happened?" And you get the same story from both of them. Teddy, I was out with Sarah. I was out with Teddy. She lived next door to Teddy and Poppy and would be over there constantly. I really believed, and I think Teddy, a few years ago, I asked you this flat out.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I was like,
you're like, seriously, dude.
Seriously, are you fucking Sarah?
Seriously.
Yeah.
No.
Jesus.
I swear, I can swear to God that I've never, ever done anything. I haven't even tried, like, in some shady back office way. I've never.
No.
Have you
Never.
played Punchy Punch with Teddy?
Oh yeah.
You have. You've played the game.
Of course I have.
Have you ever been bruised from it?
I mean, I don't think I felt it at the time because I was so hammered, but yeah, we would play Punchy Punch.
And you'd wake up with bruises.
I don't know. I don't remember if I had an actual bruise.
Sure, why not?
It's fun.
Hey, guys,
It's a weird, fun, weird thing that we do. I don't know.
She's part of the crew. I mean, you don't understand. She did. She lived at her parents for a while, which was right next to our house, and we would get dinner. And then from then it would kind of
but she practically
snowball
lived
into
with you
brunches
guys.
on Sundays.
That's not true. I didn't live
She
with
got
them.
very close with my wife.
And that's the next question. How close did you get with Teddy's wife? Was there ever a drunken night where things happened or might have happened
Handcuffs
or
came out.
joked about happening? Yeah, you take off that
No.
necklace and you're like, let's do this.
Let's do this. My tiny handcuff necklace. No.
Okay, we're just asking.
I
We're
love
asking the
Poppy. I
questions.
think Poppy is like one of the coolest chicks I've met. in
Have
the
you ever
city.
seen Teddy and Poppy take Punchy Punch to a little bit higher?
A weird
level? A weird level.
No.
Really?
I mean, well, that one time we played, she like totally socked you, but it was not.
Did you bleed?
It wasn't vicious. It's
No,
not like we're all laughing.
It's not
laughing.
vicious. It's not angry.
Yeah.
It's not. There's not a crime being committed.
No.
However, have you ever seen the Punchy Punch where maybe Teddy hit her a little too hard,
No.
or she hit him too hard?
If anything, she was hitting him harder. And it's all, like, we're all laughing.
I don't know how it's fun to get punched in the face.
It's not in the face? No. It's like on your back or arm.
Or your arm.
Oh.
Listen,
Yeah.
we're so hammered
Of
when
course.
this is going on.
Yeah,
That's-
this is usually
that's
after,
why
like,
this
you
is
know.
fun.
Sarah, one of the things I find fascinating about you is you're a very sexual person. You're very open about it. You openly talk about in the office how you.
I never have had a sexual conversation with Sarah.
Well, really? Well, okay, I have. Okay, so, and I don't talk to Sarah that much.
Okay, Phelan.
She mentions to me on occasion that
I'm
she's
terrified.
had you date several guys at a time.
Yeah.
Okay. And I remember one of my favorite quotes I ever heard from you in the office. You weren't talking to me. You're like, "Oh, I haven't had sex in 3 days."
You said that? Oh my God, Sarah.
It's possible that I said that.
Wow.
So what?
No,
So
not
what?
so what. Something I like about you. You're
I
a sexual
like that
person.
about me too.
And in fact, it's so funny. So going back to Teddy's wedding. So JD wasn't the only person that was thinking of fucking Sarah. Steve Brandano.
What?
Yeah, now he doesn't have like a crush. Oh, he's standing right behind me. Good. He doesn't have like a crush on you necessarily or anything, but I think
Right.
you guys were sharing a bedroom.
Yeah.
And with the story I got the next day was like, Steve was kind of watching you throughout the party and he's watching all these guys hit on you and kind of walk away from it. And you're like, he was like, there's a pretty decent chance we're going to go back and fuck. And then I guess this one guy.
I never said that. I
No
never
way.
said that.
There's no way he said that.
Thank you, Sarah, for being smart.
Steve, as long as you're here,
Yes.
the story was you watched these guys hit on Sarah all night
Yes.
and get turned away.
Yes.
And meanwhile, this fuck buddy that Sarah has that was there was not talking to her at all and was ignoring her pretty
He
much the
wasn't
entire party.
ignoring
Oh, I'm
me.
asking Steve. I'm asking the story Steve
I didn't
gave to
see
me.
Sarah talking to that guy that much.
Your exact words to me was that motherfucker talked to every girl there.
No, I don't think so.
Now you're lying because
No,
that's
I'm
what
not.
you said.
No, I'm not.
That's what you said to me.
Okay.
You said that motherfucker talked to every girl there. It was a cool move to watch him do that. He talked to every girl and ignored Sarah.
Oh, okay.
That's what you said. Then you said by the end of the night, you're like, maybe we're going back to the room together.
Yep, I did say
And
that.
then that guy who hadn't talked to Sarah all night,
Yes.
comes up, puts his arm around her, and they go to the main house.
Yes. Now, all I would say, and I think Sarah could understand that, is any two heterosexual people that are going to a wedding and staying in the same hotel room and are good-looking people would say, hey, there's a chance that something might happen tonight. If it would have, great. If it doesn't change the weekend.
Yeah, I'm
at
not
all.
saying you were desperate.
So that's all I'm saying.
I'm not saying you were desperate.
But I'm saying, if you're with
and I'm not
a
coming
cute
down-
girl.
Of course.
Sarah, is that what you were thinking?
That we were going to go back to the hotel room
Yeah.
and bang.
I didn't say that.
That there was a chance.
There was a chance. Was there ever a chance in your head that you two were going to bang?
What you just said
Yeah.
is totally a true statement. But was I thinking that I was going to possibly sleep with Steve? No.
No, I'm not asking that.
What are you asking?
Nothing. I'm just telling the story, actually.
Oh, okay.
I'm not really asking any questions.
But here's the thing about the guy that ignored me all night. He didn't ignore me. He was in the wedding. Like, he had to be with the wedding party people, and I really wasn't thinking about it so much. Like, I was enjoying hanging out with Steve and the other guys, and I was having a good time. And then at the end of the night, I was like, all right, I'm done talking.
I had a good time with you too, Sarah.
That's like every girl's story that's
Yeah, I know.
treated like
Right.
a doormat, right?
Yeah, they love that.
He didn't
But she
give me-
had to. He's very busy. He's very important.
Teddy, this is your friend. You want to say something?
I can put two and two
Yeah, he knows
together.
he's a scumbag.
Yeah. Hey, Teddy, is your friend a scumbag?
He's not, no.
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 Right?
My
Good-
best
good
friend since
intentions?
first grade. It's my best man.
If you have a question for Tim's former assistant, call 888-STERN-101. That's 888-783-7610. And speaking about being Tim's assistant. I know we had some good Tim stories. Now, we vetted you, and I think 99.9% of the stories we can't talk about on the air. But
Yeah, that's for sure.
there are a couple doozies, and I'll start with one of my favorites. Is when you first started working here, I saw you running around in a panic, and I was like, hey, what's going on? What's up? And Tim had lost one of his many iPads.
This
at
is the
time.
first one he
The
lost.
first one he lost, and he actually had that software up and running where you could track the iPad, and so he wanted Sarah to go find it. The iPad locator was telling him the iPad was located in Grand Central Station.
Just in general, in Grand Central.
So Sarah's like, I have to go down to Grand Central to find Tim's iPad. And
Jason's like, no,
I'm like,
you
Sarah,
don't.
yeah, don't do that. I go, here's what you're going to do. Walk around the block 5 times, come back and
Go
say
get a
you
cup of
couldn't find
coffee, be like, I don't fucking know where that
I
thing
love
is.
it.
Sorry.
Is Tim been a difficult boss?
Tim he is a handful. Is he like a bad guy? No, but
No,
Tim,
he's a great guy,
You know,
but-
Tim he has a lot of energy. He's got ADD. He's all over the place. He's a handful, but no, he's not a bad boss at all.
What about the story with the blueberry smoothie?
The blueberry smoothie story. That also, like, a lot of horrible shit happened in the first 2 weeks I worked there.
Okay.
Just in general. First of all, everyone thought I was an asshole. Everyone also thought I was fucking Jared.
Well,
And
yeah, that's the assumption everybody makes when he hangs out with a woman.
People that don't know me in this office and know Jared just assume that we
Right.
were sleeping with each other, whatever. So.
Oh, I knew Jared, and I didn't think he was sleeping with any chick.
Okay, so the blueberry smoothie.
All right.
Every morning Tim gets a blueberry smoothie. It's just blueberries and ice. Sometimes there's a banana. Jared taught me, very in detail how to procure this smoothie and bring it to Tim because it's very important. So I'm like, okay, it's the first time I go to the smoothie cart by myself. It's like my big day. I'm going to get my boss the first smoothie. I'm going alone. And the guy that makes it, it's so full. It's like, when those dome caps you get on a slushie?
Yeah, right. It's full.
It's full up to the little hole where the straw goes. I'm like, oh boy. I hand it to him and I'm like, Tim, it's really full. Be careful. Just give me a second. I'm going to get you some napkins. It's very full.
I like how you talk to him like a 7-year-old. Be careful, Timmy. It's very full.
So he's like, yeah. Okay. You know that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm like, all right. I'm thinking, this is my second week, so whatever. I'm thinking it's gonna be fine. I go get him napkins. I come back in. Sure enough, half the smoothie is down his white shirt. So
He's like my kid. He's like Owen. You can't leave him for a second.
I'm like, fuck. It's my second week. I can't believe this just happened. I'm like, all right, I got two options. I can tell him, or I can just not look at him directly.
Wait, he didn't notice?
No.
They had smoothie all over
He
his
had no
front?
idea because he's talking to me. I'm looking at the ceiling.
Well, he
and
had smoothie all over his shirt, and he's just like oblivious.
blue smoothie down the white
But
shirt.
this is proof, by the way, that he may not have known that he did what he did in the bathroom. I'm telling you. He was oblivious to
That's
things
actually
like this.
a good point.
Maybe he can't feel. Maybe he doesn't
So,
have good,
I don't know. I mean, he did lose feeling after he was on a motorbike.
Right. So he's got smoothie all over his
He's got smoothie
front.
all over him. I'm like, fuck, I really don't want to have to tell this guy that he dumped the smoothie all over him. He's probably going to blame it on me. I'm scared. And so I say nothing, and I'm looking at his computer, and all of a sudden I hear him go, oh, shit, fucking shit. And I turn around, I'm like, what happened? And he looks at me, and he looks down, and he looks at me, and he goes, is this water?
Is this water?
I love that story.
the blue.
He didn't know it was a blueberry. He just finished drinking it. And he had no idea. He didn't know what it was. He had to guess, and he guessed wrong.
You have to love him for that.
I love Tim Sabian possibly more than any person here. He is the best. Sarah, thank you for giving us some time. Thank
That
you
was
for
great, Sarah.
letting the
We're gonna
audience get
miss
to
you.
know you. We
I'll
are going to
miss you
miss
guys,
you. I
too.
do hope to talk to you. I do hope to. You put up great pictures on Facebook, so I'll be checking you out there. Speaking
Check
of
out my
pictures,
Facebook picture.
Speaking of pictures, I just tweeted a picture of Sarah over at Stern Show. So if you're wondering what she looks like, you can go check her out.
I hope it's a good picture.
We are coming back with some weekend stories, wine and weed, the block party. I was over at Jim McClure's apartment. Teddy was at the Rush concert. We'll be back with all of that only on Howard 101.
Even we can't believe Tim Sabian signed off on this shit. This is Back Office Radio with Will and Jason on Howard 101.
Will, two takeaways from that segment. Number one, that Brian Fallon story is probably one of the funniest stories I've heard in a while.
It's unbelievable.
Heine ho? Heine he?
I know. DePace even texted me. He's like, wow, the show actually might be good.
Wow. We went over to Pace.
He loves
We've
that
won.
Fallon story.
Well, he doesn't like Brian Fallon. I mean, he openly doesn't like Brian Phelan. It's fine. Another funny thing from that why are you shaking your head?
Because you always have something
I don't know if he
to say
said
about
that.
the
Yeah.
Pace.
Well, I don't care if he said it or not. I know Scott the Pace doesn't like Brian Phelan.
No, he
Brian
said
Phelan
that.
knows
You're
Scott
right.
the
He
Pace
has said
doesn't
that.
like Brian Phelan, and I'm pretty sure Scott knows all of this. All right, another funny thing in that statement was, and thanks for pointing this out during the commercial break, Will, Steve explaining, why he thought he might have sex with Sarah at the wedding or not. His quote was, look, when two very good-looking people are at a wedding together and they're single, Steve, pat on the back for having such a high self-esteem.
He might kill us, I think, by the end of the show.
No, he'll just start talking about how he's almost banged more chicks than us combined.
I'm done picking on Stevie. I'm sorry.
We're not picking on him. That's funny. And you were picking on him off air. So
Well, I mean, when you make comments like that, come on. We're two very good-looking people in a hotel room together.
Hey,
Things
he's
happen.
come on, he's been hitting the gym hard. He looks good.
He's very big. Yes, I got it.
All right, so the recap, we're going to be announcing our douche of the week winner in the next segment. Teddy nominated JD, nominated Scott the Pace, and Will nominated himself smartly. So call in with your douche of the week nominees. If you check out @Stern Show on Twitter, you can see a picture of Sarah I tweeted out. You can see a picture of Teddy's $400 boots, and I will try and tweet out a picture of John Lieberman looking fat as soon as I can. And speaking of Tim and Toledo, welcome to Back Office Radio.
Great show, guys. I just got to agree with you, Jason. I was looking at pictures of John Lieberman the other day on, the Howard Stern page.
Yep.
And I was like, man, his head is getting like Barry Bonds' head. And then I checked his stomach, and I'm like, it's starting to push over a little bit.
Yeah, and I'm not even making fun of John. I mean, obviously I am making fun of John, but listen, it happens.
The head has always been big. It's the body that's now, following.
If you go on to HowardStern.com, you can see a picture of John Lieberman at the racetrack with Ronnie. He's got a helmet on that's way too small for that giant potato head. So.
Potato head.
Right? Am I wrong?
It kind of
It's like a
does.
size 9, too.
It does. His nose looks like it's attached on with like a little piece of plastic.
Call in 888-STERN-101. Like I said, we will. So we both had a busy week, and we all know you were at the block party, and I definitely want to find out more about. I'm sure there was more at the block party than just you being drunk and rambling into a microphone. But first, let's start with my party. I had a wine and weed party this weekend. I try and have one of these every year. Where I have all my friends over that both love both wine and weed. We drink wine and we talk about weed because smoking weed is illegal,
yes.
Wrong. So of course nobody was actually smoking anything illegal there. That said, there was a cloud of smoke over the party, and
my point with your party is, talking about weed with people you don't know that well,
right,
sometimes becomes very difficult. Because you're always in your head, like, am I sounding like an idiot talking about weed right now? I hope people are understanding what I'm saying here. It's just not it's a hard social drug for a lot of people, particularly me.
But fortunately, the people I have over are people who professionally talk about weed, I think, as part of their lifestyle. And it's always fun. And what I like about it, because I throw the party in my house, is that wine and talking about weed really slows a person down. So everything happens in slow motion. There's no worry about someone's going to get crazy and tear my TV off the wall or something like that. Like everything just happens in slow motion. So I have some observations, and I'd love to hear some observations from you because I was busy hosting. 30 seconds into Will walking into literally 30 seconds of Will walking into the apartment, he's already got the phone out showing someone a video or a picture of Owen. Are you that guy now?
Oh. I'm not that guy because I know they're an annoying person, but somebody asked, how's Owen doing? And I showed them a picture because, I love the kid.
Of course.
He's at a great age right now. He's very cute.
Teddy, I have a question for you.
Okay,
your
go.
beautiful wife, Poppy, who I usually have a great relationship with, I felt, and I could be wrong, but I felt that she was not having a good time, that she looked quiet, she was clutching her purse, and she didn't take her jacket off, and was she okay? Was she not having a good time?
No, she had a great time. What it was is it takes a while to kind of warm up. When you walk right into that party, we got there probably 45 minutes into it. And everybody was in a state of mind already. Yeah. And it was kind of quiet. We walk in, even though I know all these people for years, it's like it's just an awkward tension there. But no. She loosened up. We got loose.
Okay, I don't know.
We partied.
Do you ever get the feeling that like Teddy and Poppy are very cool New Yorkers and they kind of just look down on the whole scene?
What scene?
I can't believe we're in Hoboken.
I love Hoboken. Are you kidding me?
Teddy does love Hoboken, but it is like we were definitely the pre-party for the real Saturday Night plans.
Right.
Because Teddy's a maniac. The second the party ended, I crashed so hard. I just went right to sleep. But you went out like partying all night, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, I had a friend in town from out of town who was doing an event at Roseland, and we were there all night, and it was just fun. I mean, it was a concert, so it's cool to living here. You get to go to a lot of fun stuff.
He never lets you forget you're the lame married guy with a kid.
Hey, I heard
I love that.
I heard that Brad sent you some weird text. Can we talk about this?
Brad
Driver
sent me a text.
Sent you a text the night after the party or the night of the party when you guys weren't you going out to meet Brad to go DJ discoing with him? Well, Teddy looks that up. We'll move on. Will, you thought Teddy was a maniac at the party?
Yeah, Teddy was a little bit getting crazy. You could tell he was excited about the rest of the night.
Right.
Like you said, this was the appetizer.
Yeah, this was the opening act.
So yeah, he's like, he's playing a little punchy with me all night, and I'm hungover and busy talking about weed, and it was a little obnoxious, but I love him.
Yeah.
I love him.
Oh, I know. Okay. So, the event we were going to, it's like, I had to get a warning text just saying that, this is a professional thing. You have to be on your best behavior.
Weren't you going to a rave?
No, it was a concert. So,
it was a rap DJ concert.
Are we allowed to talk
right?
about Brad Driver? Brad Driver's wife. Brad made the greatest move ever. He married like this woman that's got to be a gazillionaire at this point. She manages one of the biggest DJs in the world. Cascade. I've not, I don't know. I'm not in that world, but in that world, this guy is as big as they come. Like I went out, and when I was out in Vegas, we went to the Marquee, which is like the coolest, club ever. We were a bunch of hillbillies looking like idiots out there. But, you see this guy, and there's like, 20,000 people there, and they're going nuts for him. Like, God knows, I think, Brad burns money to heat his house, in the winters now, but he married right. So Teddy
was
going.
One of these events, and so when you go to one of these events, you're not just in the audience, you're in the dressing rooms, and you're backstage, and
this guy was like the biggest DJ in Australia.
Australia,
right?
Yeah. Dirty South.
Yeah.
So the text was, hey, I know you're coming back.
It's a standardized, it's almost like he sends it to many people, like, don't forget what you're
doing. Did Poppy
get
the same text as you?
No, because I represent the both of us, but it goes, you could tell it's like it's a statement, and it just says, remember that you're going through a privileged thing, and this is, don't get out of control. I mean, believe me, I know it from working with Artie. I mean, the backstage scene at Artie shows were always a shit show. We had people everywhere throwing up and.
Hey, Brad Driver, if you're listening to the show, give us a call or text us. I'd love to know if Teddy was one of many people you sent that text to, or if he was the only one. Matt in Houston, welcome to Back Office Radio.
Yeah, hey guys. I just wanted to reassure Will a little and just say I have never listened to this show until today, and it was only because Howard gave you shit. And I wanted to say it's an awesome show. It sort of reminds me of like listening to Howard in the 90s. I mean, I'm your age, right? I've been listening since I was like 10, and it's like listening to Howard in the 90s, where it was like there was much more equal footing between the guys, and so it was a little more acrimonious, but still like I don't know, it's just more interesting in a sense. I mean, I still listen to Howard and I love him and all, but you guys are more reminiscent.
That's awesome, man. Thank you. That's a really cool compliment. Obviously, Howard is the greatest thing ever on radio, and he's influenced anything Jason and I ever do, but there's some part of me that feels glad that I was an asshole, so a few more people would listen to the show.
You took one for the team.
Yeah. You certainly did.
We were dying to get those clips played, and we got them all played after your explosion. To be compared to Howard in any era is an honor. All right, we are running out of time here. Real quick, I'm just going to tell you my last observations about the party. Well, you said something funny about my wife. You came in and complimented how great our house looked.
Well, yeah, your wife stopped working a few months ago, and she's been at home allegedly working. I would claim she's probably napping most of the time.
She makes me my breakfast and lunch. That's
she does. She sends him in like a kindergartner with his little lunch. Exactly. The whole day's job. But I go in the house, I'm like, wow, it looks great in here. Usually, there's dog hair everywhere and fucking cat shit somewhere, and you're like, it's really organized, looks really nice in here. And I said, Jason, great job with the house. She goes, Jason, it's me. I've been doing everything. It's like, excuse me, Janice. I apologize. Janice, great job.
Slightly less whiny, but she is very proud of her housework, and I'm proud of it too, because this her not working thing is very stressful to me. So to come home to a clean house and have everything nice, neat, and organized, and my food is cooked and my bowls are packed, it's a nice thing.
Your bowls are packed.
Oh yeah, I come home to a ready smokable item every day.
I thought you said you were talking about.
I mean, I come home ready to talk about smoking every single day. I don't have to lift a finger for that. Well, thank you. She appreciates that. Speaking of, Janice also made a ton of food for the party. I mean,
she did.
We have 3 different types of cupcakes,
all kinds of dips,
and
I felt like such a piece of shit after I left that party. I'm like, wow, this is what Jason feels like every day.
Any more quick? Should we wrap up Wine and Weed? Anything crazy?
No, it was a good time.
It was
Jay.
awesome. Thanks for having us.
Good party.
Thank you. All right. One more real quick note. Also, this weekend I went to. I mentioned this already. I went to Jim McClure's house, where he and his wife, actually his wife, cooked an amazing dinner, an absolutely amazing dinner of steak and homemade blue cheese and fried foods and anchovies on onions and a cheese platter. And I don't even. It was ridiculous.
Liza can cook.
Liza can cook.
I've never met a woman who wants to get married.
Now here's
more.
Here's my
pulling
question.
out all the stops.
Here's my question, and I gotta pretend Jim's not in the room. I'm talking just to you here, Will.
Okay.
Jim lives in a high-rise apartment on the west
beautiful.
side.
I've been there.
You go up there. Yeah, it's like on a 39. It's like one of the highest
right on the
floors.
Hudson.
It's like right under the penthouse. You have huge windows overlooking the Hudson River into Hoboken and all this beautiful New Jersey. That meal that Liza served must have been at least $300. I can't imagine it was anything less than that. All right, Jim shaking his head no. He just bought a huge new TV. My question to you is, how much do you think Jim makes? Like, and by the way, underpaid, whatever it is.
That was my point when you brought this up earlier. Whatever he makes, it's not enough.
No, it's not enough
because he works with the great Tim Sabian, and we all know that's not an easy job.
You know, a lot of
he
people,
does a fantastic job.
A lot of people say vice presidents is just a title. It's the VP does nothing. But let me tell you, Jim is the hardest working vice president I've
love
ever
Jimmy.
seen. Yeah, we do love Jimmy. But Jimmy, how much do you make? Oh, you want to throw a dollar figure out there?
It should be noted that it's a dual income family with no kids.
That's true.
Liza also works.
Well, she's freelance.
Yeah, but
right?
she's freelance.
Yeah, but freelance.
How much
makes
does
good
Liza
money.
make?
You can do really, really well in freelance. You can work for 2 months and make like a 4
She
or
makes
5
good
months.
money?
Yeah, she can.
Okay.
Depending on the job, yeah.
What are we talking? That apartment's go over 3,500?
No, not at all.
Over 3,000?
No.
That's what I told you. I told you it wasn't that much.
Then you're getting a great fucking deal then.
Yeah, I got a great deal. I'll be moving out of there in a year when they raise my rent.
Hold on, my wife just texted me. I'm making you pumpkin gnocchi right now. Thank you,
must be
baby.
nice.
Wow.
Thank you, baby.
But no, Liza is an incredible cook, and I'm just as lucky as Jason. And I come home when
Then why don't you marry her?
When we're basically married.
She wears a wedding ring.
She's got a beautiful ring. She's very happy with the situation too. I'm not depriving her of anything.
Jim just turned 3 shades redder.
She cries herself to sleep.
But Jim, and also those steaks must have been $50 a pop.
I hope not.
She told me they were dry aged Angus steaks. I know how much steaks cost.
Nah, we wanted to have a nice dinner,
and I appreciate it. I love it. It was awesome. I had a wonderful time. I just wanted
Teddy
to throw
and
that
I
out
appreciate
there.
the invite, by the way.
No,
Thank
hey,
you
this was
very much.
I think I invited myself to just.
He's only got a number of seats. So
And
Jason takes up 3 of them.
Yeah, exactly. So
my dogs hate kids, so I can't.
Who said anything about Owen? He stays home, man. He's old enough. He can drink out of a bowl.
All right, Will, so you were at the block party, and I know besides you there was a lot going on. You had a ride. You rode down and rode back with Scott the Pace. How was that?
It was rough. No, well, going home, I just slept the entire time. I passed out in the car. He was pissed about that. I actually felt bad about that. I think that's a bullshit move when you pass out in a car with somebody else.
Yeah.
But on the way down, all he did was bitch and moan that we didn't put him up on the phone last week when we nominated him for Page 69 because he wanted to defend himself. He claims that when I said, he said that, Steve and John shouldn't be able to reproduce. That was a joke. Okay. Hilarious.
Oh, that's funny.
And
it's like when he said "ew" when you said
adoption.
You want to adopt.
I mean, he pulls that move a lot. Like he'll say something and then be like, "That was a joke."
No, he'll yell, "I was joking. Come on."
Well, he probably was actually joking in that case.
I'm sure he was, but he still said it.
But I took a lecture the entire way down. But again, I didn't have to drive, so I was willing to take it. What else did I pick up at the block party?
Hold on a second. Scott in Vegas, welcome to Back Office Radio.
Howdy.
You got a nominee producer of the week?
I do, and Will just re-emphasized my point, or not re-emphasize, just emphasize it. DePace, this is the Gary thing all over again. He blames his victims. He treats people like shit.
Yep.
And then blames them, and that's the douchiest. At least Will had a big douche moment. We all know that. But we've all been there. At least Will admits it, and he nominated himself, for fuck's sake.
Scott would never do that.
I'm a hero.
People make mistakes all the time, and there's certain ways to handle it. You could either be accountable and say I fucked up and I'm sorry and I'll try not to do that again, or you could be like Scott and just blame anyone in a 15-mile radius and say, well, it's not all my fault. It's this person's fault. It's that person's fault. Yes, Scott. The world is a community. Nothing is ever one person's fault solely, but somebody has to take the blame.
I hate communities.
Yeah, I know he does. Okay, Will, did you lose your car keys at some point?
Oh yeah, that was the other thing. I got back to Scott's, couldn't find my car keys, so then I had to spend the night at Scott's house.
Oh.
His dog came in the room like 6 times, licking my face. It was awful. And then,
Did you beat it?
Huh?
Did you punch the dog? Or
No,
not?
it looked like it was already hobbling around. That's a joke. It looked fine.
Now, JD and Ronnie are two of the stars of the show, and, they read the poem Winter, and Ronnie yells and screams. What is their backstage preparation
It's just funny,
like?
yeah. You go back in that green room, and it's just Ronnie and JD staring at the wall. Shusha Shawnee was running around. I didn't even know he's a whackpacker at this point. I don't even remember the last time he called into the Stern Show. And who else is back there? Little Mikey, who's looking as creepy as ever. This girl Stephanie, this cute little fan. She's hot. You just kind of sit there and they just stare at the wall. Like I said, there's nothing really going on. But
just stare. Well, we talked so much.
Stephanie, Ronnie's girl Stephanie. Does Stephanie have a job? Does she work, or is she just like Ronnie's assistant?
I think she's a blogger.
She's a blogger.
A professional. She does. What does she do? Come here, big head.
Yeah. Hold on. Hey, where's the
John
trumpet
Lieberman
music?
standing in the corner like Lisa G for the last half hour.
Dun, 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 dun.
She works. She works for like an animal control, like a humane society. She has a job.
It's like an internship.
No,
She's
she
of
gets
that
paid.
age.
She gets paid.
Animal control sounds about right for Ronnie.
She has a full-time job.
Did you go look in the mirror, John? Did you go weigh yourself?
No, I came in to say two things. I don't want to hijack the conversation.
Fast, because we gotta go to a break.
Extra large. What two things? Super size?
No.
Big?
Oh my gosh, you guys, it's like 3-on-1 here. It's ridiculous. Here's the thing.
Don't put those headphones on, you'll break them.
Extra cheese?
Two things that I've been hearing a lot on Twitter. One, why didn't I have my helmet strapped on? And it
wouldn't fit.
At the pace car is because the helmet was too small. It was 7 1/4, and I have an 8 head. And I told the guy that I have an 8 head, and he didn't have it. And here's the other thing. My fitted caps are 8. Okay, so that's why I didn't have the helmet on. Number two, everybody's on Twitter like, "Oh, you're a pussy." Okay, I may have come off sounding like a pussy this week because of the pace car and because of all that. I'm whining about how I'm not fat. But here's the deal.
You're in a Fat Guy Minute with John Lieberman.
But here's the deal. And I'm serious now. I have spent my career, I have sat down with more murderers and more rapists than anybody knows and asked hard questions. I am a real journalist,
John,
and I'm not a pussy.
Journalist. Everyone loves you. You're listening to Back Office Radio on Howard 101. Give us a call, 888-101. We'll be right back with your Douche of the Week winner, only on Howard 101.
The only place Gary can't interrupt us. This is Back Office Radio with Will and Jason on Howard 101.
Welcome back to Back Office Radio. Reports are trickling into the studio that J.D. Harmeyer is furious at me for saying that people should unfollow him. J.D., two things. One, I'm doing this for your benefit, buddy. Howard doesn't want you to have the Twitter account open anymore. He said so twice, and you've ignored him twice. So I'm trying to help you out. And I'm also trying to remind you that we're doing a radio show here, bro.
Yeah.
It's called being entertaining, and I mean it. People should unfollow you, but just calm down. Put it in perspective.
I've heard he's lost 80 Twitter followers, but gained 15 pounds. So it's all right.
Oh, he'll get mad at me for you saying that. Don't worry about it.
I love you, Jamie.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Teddy, JD's not the only one angry at the show. We got a few voicemails this week. Let's hear what you guys had to say.
Hey, now, this is Jerry from Detroit. I think that the Douche of the Week award should just be named the Jason Kaplan Douche of the Week award, because it'll be just too easy to give it to him random weeks. This way, he's out of the running, and he just goes to everyone else, but he has the honor of having the trophy named after him. Love the show, guys. Talk to you later. Bye.
Yes, this message is for Jason Kaplan. This is Steve Langford. And you know what, Jason? I think your show is full of baloney. It's full of crap. And you know what? You're my vote for Douche of the Week. Whatever you say and whatever comes out of your mouth is baloney. And you know what? I want you to go to jail. Just go screw yourself, Jason. And soon I'll get my job back. That's right. For Howard 100 News, this is Steve White.
Hey, this is Superfan Ann calling to stick up for Bobo. You were talking about him being a loser. He has a family, a nice wife, kids, a job, and a passion, a hobby. So I don't see why he'd be a loser. Thanks.
Hey, what's up, guys? How you doing? This is Cyclo. Jason, big fan. Will Murray, you're a piece of fucking shit.
Finally.
You should have died when you were 14 years old, goddammit. You should have never had that transplant. But you're a good guy, though, so I really can't complain. But get a life.
Yeah, Jason, you fucking rock, man. Fuck these guys. I think you're funny.
I think you're a ball buster, and I definitely get a kick out of you going in there and throwing all those motherfuckers under the bus. Will, you're a douche. Philly sucks. Every Philly team fucking blows. The best fucking athlete Philly's ever produced is a fucking fictional character in Rocky. So you could suck on that, fucking Philly boy. Anyway, Jason, keep busting balls. Fuck JD. Fuck all of these guys that don't like it, and especially fuck that little midget Ronnie. He's a jerk off. Make him douche of the week. All right, boy.
Hey, Jason and Will, this is Joe from Kentucky. Just wanted to give you guys a couple pointers here on your back office show. First, I think you guys all need to know that if your name is not Howard, Robin, Fred, or Gary, the 15 minutes is ticking, and as soon as Howard retires, you will all be fading into obscurity. Will, you have it backwards. You guys think that you're from Philly and you're tough and the rest of the country are a bunch of pussies, when in fact, everyone from Philadelphia is pretty much an asshole, and the rest of us are all sensible American citizens. Jason, you sound like a little faggot. Your voice is really annoying, but in high-pitched mic on the air, it really helps because it makes you sound as tough as Chuck Zito compared to high-pitched mic. And lastly, I would like to say that Lisa G is a complete cunt, and you guys would be well served if you pulled the J.D. Harmeyer move and froze her out completely. A, it would drive her nuts, and B, we wouldn't have to talk about that bitch anymore. Thanks, guys. Have a good day.
Well, thank you to our lovely fans out there. A reminder, if you'd like to leave us a voicemail, and I hope it's as angry as some of those.
Get brutal.
The number 347-781-4335. That's 347-781-4335. That's to leave us a voicemail. I have to say, I was very happy that you got knocked around a little bit. I feel the voicemails. Yeah, everyone's always anti-me. And
it was nice to get a message from Bobo's librarian.
He's a nice man. He has a family.
Nice hobbies. Good boys.
By the way, just having a kid doesn't make you a good guy. Like, having a kid makes you a family man, and it doesn't make you a good person.
He shouldn't have kids.
He should not have kids. Okay, Will, you and I talked during the break, but we put our heads together. Teddy got involved. Jim threw a couple votes in. I think Paul, the intern, also. We got everyone together here, and we picked a winner for Douche of the Week, and we have that person on the phone. Welcome to the show, Scott DePace. You are our
Douche of the Week.
Congratulations, Scott. In a week where Will sounds
your
like
wife has an Emmy
douche.
and you have a Douche of the Week.
Yeah.
Awesome. Is this my second win or just my first?
Second.
Did he win last week?
Yeah, he won. It was unanimous.
Congratulations. Two-time winner.
I feel so good. It's awesome. I'll try for next week.
Well, he complained like I said, all the way down to Philly. He complained that we didn't put him on the phone. So I was like,
Will, you're such a jerk off. First of all, just like Jason, you get everything wrong. That is not what I did on the way down. I did it for 1 minute. I said,
1 minute?
An asshole. Why wouldn't you call me?
I heard it from Trent to Philadelphia.
I'll tell Jason what an asshole he is, how horrible his voice is, what a
fat. Go ahead. Can you actually point to something without using the word fat or stupid or annoying?
Okay,
what? Go ahead. Name something specific.
That new jacket you're wearing looks like a tent. How was that?
It's okay. Come in. You look like a.
It's a fair point.
A fat farmer every day when you come in. I mean, you're supposed to be some boss, and you wear washed out jeans. You wear washed out jeans. You wear washed out jeans.
Wait, let's not talk over each other.
Right, you were not. I put him on hold. You wear washed out jeans.
Wait, no. This is his time to speak.
Yeah, he's the winner.
He won.
Yeah, you can't put me on hold, jerk off.
Wait, what'd you say?
I said you.
See?
Oh, stop it. Come on. Scott, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Anything to say?
I'm really proud to win this. It's great.
Good.
Jason's an asshole.
Yes.
That Phelan story was super creepy.
Hey, by the way, have you ever heard somebody use the word Heine before?
No.
I mean, that's an old word.
In a business environment, he would talk to anyone like that.
Jeez. Come on, stop being a downer.
Yeah, I've seen how you thought. I'll pull some of your transcripts.
I've never done anything like that.
I've seen you call people retards before you're yelling at them off air.
Calling them a retard is different than...
I don't think so. Not when you're yelling at your lighting
guy. That's acceptable for Republicans.
Hey, retard!
Sexual harassment.
Well, we'll see what happens. Well, anyway, Scott, if we send you an award, I hope you display it proudly somewhere. I hope that we hear from you again and that you win more Douche of the Week. But being serious...
I'm going to try hard to win this week.
Who would you have nominated for Douche of the Week this week? And be serious about it. Put some thought into it.
Well, it would have to be Shuley or Ronnie, but I'm thinking Shuley.
Why?
Yeah. Well, because he's a jerk off. That the attack that they dreamt up at the block party was ridiculous, and he's not funny, and his show is horrible.
Well, there you go.
I don't agree that the show is horrible. I know Scott said I said something when I was drunk, but it was a weird atmosphere. It was like a bar. It was in a bar. People were kind of hanging out. So it was weird. You didn't really know that you were supposed to be quiet, I felt like. It wasn't like I said before, you were at some kind of theater.
Right, I know, and it must have been so confusing to Scott DePace when Ronnie started yelling from stage because he really broke character and wasn't really part of the act. That's what Ronnie does on stage. He yells at people. And when you're a Howard Stern guy at a Howard Stern event, whether or not you're working, you're going to be brought into the act.
Yeah, well, he singled me out. It was just bull crap. And, like Will said, we're sitting right next to a bar.
But he didn't single you out. Didn't he also say that about his girlfriend and the intern that was there?
No, he singled me out first for 10 or 15 seconds, and then added his girlfriend. And, with me, he was saying, go outside and all this crap. And you know what? Even if he didn't single me out and he also talked to her, I'm not going to take it. I'm surprised she took it. If I were her, I would have came up and slapped him in his fucking face.
Little punchy punch. The Ronnie's out. Scott, thank you so much for calling in to accept your Douche of the Week award. We really appreciate it. Will, we're in the last minute here. I would just like to thank, of course, Christy Lieberman for being such a good sport. Sarah, Tim's assistant,
for telling the creepiest story of the year.
Teddy for expanding on Punchy Punch, and of course everybody out there who unfollowed JD Harmeyer on Twitter. You're doing the man a favor. You don't even understand.
We got the whole John Hein TV crew in here. They're coming up next. And Johnny, in the commercial break, told us that he got a text from his wife.
Yes.
Johnny, come up here real quick.
No, he doesn't.
Run.
Run. Yeah, your
Holy cow. And what did it say?
My wife said she heard Jason's shout out. The second she got home, she turned it on, and she loves Back Office Radio.
Damn right she does.
Hell yeah, she does. Look at this. JD won't even look over here. JD has his back to the radio. Guys, thank you for listening to us on Howard 101. You can hear us Sunday at 7 a.m.
7 a.m. replay.
7 a.m. replay.
Peace.
Only on Howard 101.